What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Three Star Draw. I'm down south 77. It is another every other Wednesday. That means it's time for the backyard battlefield. And with me is my brother to the north.
Steel Crow, how's it going?
How you doing today, man? You having a pretty good day. You're having a banner week this week so far, huh?
I would say today was unusually a good day. Yeah, it was wild day. I
Had some fun today, huh?
yeah,
Um,
no secret the phalanx came. We got the phalanx. I know I'm probably blurry as hell. I don't have any other monitors on, so I see myself clearly. Don't know how you guys see me, but we got that in the mail the other day. But I was telling down south and the Punk with Toys, it first happened today. I got recognized as Krusty Old Crow by a complete stranger in an EB Games today, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I saw that in our in one of our group chat that we've got. That's pretty cool, man. That's got to be a pretty neat
But
feeling. I've not experienced that yet, but so that's awesome.
it was a milestone I never knew I had until it happened. I was like, oh my God, wow, I can cross that off my list. That's really cool for somebody who's just treating the channel like a hobby. That's a payoff and investment, man. Like I really was humbled by that. But yeah, that happened today.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I'm glad to hear it. So I
Mhm.
figure if that ever happens to me, it's probably gonna be like probably at either at Yojo Depot or maybe at like one of the local toy shows or collector shows or something around here. But I'm not I'm not exactly counting on it, but I usually do wear my jersey to those too. So at least
Yeah,
that'll
what was it?
if any has
Yeah,
any
because it
question, they'll know.
it did happen because I did go to the classified aisle, and this person was at the classified section. And they were like, "Hi, Crow," but I can tell you what you're talking about because if anybody's seen Thunderbolts at the end, where what is it, Red Guardians in the grocery store standing by the cereal, trying to make sure people noticed he was on the cover of the cereal. Like I just picture that too. Hey, you guys
That's
talk
funny.
about Joe? Do you watch YouTube?
That's funny. Well, I mean, but that's cool though, because I mean, of all the places, that they hear if they watch, they hear you talk about you get stuff there all the time, and you're mainly a classified guy, so you're actually there looking at the classified figures. So that's pretty cool though.
Yeah,
Glad you got that milestone. Um, what's the always like to ask what the weather's like up there in Canada right now?
it's fall now. You can tell it's colder at night. Like it doesn't get very warm through the day, like maybe mid 20s. Um, Wind chills coming off the lake a little bit, but we're definitely seeing the leaves turning color a little bit, and the kids are back in school, so it's fall. How about yourself? What's it like down there? Down south,
Uh,
77.
yeah, it's been pretty nice the last I don't know like last week it was really nice last week, and it's starting to warm back up. Like we actually had a couple of days that the highs were they didn't get out of the 70s. It was great. It's my favorite kind of weather. Doesn't get warmer than like 75. And we had 4 or 5 days of those in a row. In the night at night it was down in the 50s. I had the windows open most of last weekend,
Mm.
and it's all coming to a crashing halt because it's warming back up, and next Monday the forecasted high is 98. It was literally like 74 for a high, and Monday is supposed to be 98. That is
See,
some bullshit. Is the middle of September. It's the
we
only
get
time I
those.
hate being in the South.
So we get those up here too. And I mean, there's no current politically correct way to address the slang term we had for them. They were called Indian summers. Like
Yeah. Oh
happening
yeah.
halfway
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
the fall is suddenly just remember July, hot as fuck. Well, so is September or October for some
Yeah.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll have like scattered days where it gets hot, even into October. But for it to be that hot in the middle of September, like that's crazy to me. I can't stand it, man. I'm ready for fall.
Mm.
So, so I guess you think you'll get the kayak back out anymore this year?
Uh, well, if I do get a heat wave that I get some notice about and see it coming, I might try to get out one more time. But it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was also because there's lots of bathing suits on the beach when you go out kayaking, and without that kind of a view, the motivation's not as well, not as there.
Well,
So
well, yeah. I
we'll
mean,
see.
that's
We'll
gotta
see.
that means a lot, man. Be able to float around. I would recommend this winter a good purchase for you. Um, if we get a break in time, which we're going to talk about later, is we're going to be talking about
Mm.
time, um, where you're not bombarded with toys and stuff coming in. I would recommend when they put them all on sale and everything's on sale for Christmas, get you a GoPro so you can
Yes.
mount to your kayak and not have to worry about it getting wet. You can put your phone in a dry bag.
Yeah.
Um,
I know there's family members that struggle to know what to get me because I've told them, like, don't even try and get onto my collections. You don't understand them.
I,
You would buy the
yeah,
wrong thing, right? I'd
yeah.
just be like, I appreciate it, but don't. But a GoPro sounds like something within reason. I could say, give me a gift card towards a GoPro or something like that at a Best Buy or whatever. That makes sense. And I thank you for that suggestion because I've been thinking about that too. I
And
need
and
more
it doesn't,
cameras.
yeah, and it doesn't even. I mean, you don't even have to have like the latest and the greatest. Just they're
Mhm.
all anything a couple models back's good. I mean, the one I've got's a 9, so um,
Well,
not
my son will work all that tech for me. I gave him the 3D printers the other day, and he bought a computer with his money. So I was like, okay, you can teach me
nice.
GoPro after you teach me 3D printing terrain for my shelves.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. Let's go ahead and say what's up to the chat. We got
Yes, please.
20 people watching, so what's up, everybody? So first in chat looks like it was Joe ARAH. What's up, fellow kids and toy collectors? I got GI Jetman is in the house. What's up, Jetman? We
Serve.
got Stu for lunch. Hell yeah, Morris Day and the motherfucking time. That's right. I had to put some Morris Day on there, man. I love Morris Day and time.
Yes.
Kenzo's
Time.
collections. What up, Kenzo? Oh, let's see. Turk Murphy's Toy Solutions is in the place. What's up, Turk?
Turk. Turks. Turk's doing his job, supporting the supportable and calling out those that don't need it. And I appreciate it. I was talking to Turk earlier today. Me and Turk think alike, I find sometimes.
Yeah, got a message from him a little while ago myself. So
Yes,
what's
yes.
what's going on? Shane, same time toys in the house. What up?
See if I can
And
build that
Stu,
light.
Stu was talking about being recognized, but he said unfortunately it was in a VD clinic. That is
Yes,
awkward.
someplace. Yeah. I'm so flattered. Wait, no, I'm not.
Oh, oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Frank Dumont Hughes in the house. What's up, Frank?
Yeah.
And Sabir Del Norte is here. What's up, Sabir? Do see Steve Martin is here. What's going on, Steve? How you doing?
Steve, I responded to your comment on my videos, Steve. Thank you very much for chiming in on that. Steve's another one who looks at the phalanx differently.
Yeah. 610 Yojo Daddy's in the house. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Y'all smash that like button and subscribe. Yes, do that if you had not. I'm sure if you're here, you're probably
Yeah.
subscribed to both of us, but somehow if you're not, go ahead and take care of that. Let's see what up. You can go through here. I already said what's up to Sabir, but I'll say it again. What's up, Sabir? Nolan is in the house, makes us Toy Tube official. What's up, Nolan? Got a SCS dog in the house. just finished watching Krusty's Phalanx review. So am I still
Thank you
saying
very
it
much.
wrong? Phalanx,
Phalanx.
Phalanx, Phalanx,
Phalanx. Like, and
Phalanx. I
do you
pronounced
remember when the movie 300, he talked about his shield formation and why the mutated guy couldn't ever be a part of it. He
yeah,
referred to it as
right.
a phalanx. Yeah.
That's true. See, I pronounced it
Mhm.
wrong on purpose so long I can't even say it right now. So
The phallus.
the phallus. Crow got his phallus finally. So
Yeah.
um
Hey guys,
Allison.
I do have the other monitor up now. As usual, we're blurry on my side again. That is what we're finding out is the signal, not the software that we're sharing, I think. So we'll bash on. Hopefully we get some clarity later because you were like last time that it came halfway through the stream where suddenly I was clear, right? So
Yeah, it comes and goes. Like it'll be fuzzy and
yeah.
then it'll clear up. So we'll see. It's a
Mhm.
StreamYard thing. It's definitely StreamYard.
We're not
Allison
paying the
Choi,
signal
Retro
tariff.
Toy Princess. No,
Hi,
what's
Allison.
going on, Allison? Oh, let's see. I'm way up there in the comments. So Mick DJ ACDC is in the house saying, hey, what's up? Got
Magadak.
Paul, Paul Morales in the house.
Mhm.
Let's see.
Magadak.
I love that movie. It's one of those movies I
Oh,
can
me
watch
too.
almost any damn time.
I
Is
missed the boat on the figures for those. I did. I wish I'd been
yeah,
collecting when they were around.
yeah, I do too. I wish somebody would do some like new ones with like modern articulation, but like
Mhm.
something like Fresh Monkey Fiction, but maybe not quite that as expensive. Um,
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about Mars Attacks if somebody's still in the dark about
yeah,
Mars Attacks.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mars
Mm.
Attacks. We see we got Todd C in the house. What up, Todd?
Hi, Todd. He too makes you
Gun
Toy
Bunny.
Tube official, right? Todd C's kind of
Yeah,
everywhere as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Todd is everywhere.
Yeah.
Gun Bunny Customs in the house. What's up, Gun Bunny?
Gun
Let's
Bunny,
see.
have you Tiger Forced the Phalanx yet? Let me
I
know.
bet he would if you sent it to him.
I wonder if some people have been like, guess what's on the way? Like you have 12 of these on the way for some reason.
Yeah, right. That would probably
Well,
be Stanley. Um, Machine Man is here. It says it might partially be light flare. Vehicle looks in focus. It's but not. We've worked with the lights a
Hmm.
little bit. It's something StreamYard does.
But I
I don't know
could try
why.
just turning off this halo light entirely and just going like that. See if that helps clarify it a bit on their end. It's not wrong about light glare manipulating
Oh yeah,
things.
believe me, I know as much as I mess around with mine. So um
Mhm.
Gun Bunny says he has a guy who wants one, so hopefully by the end of the year. So we might be able to
Yeah,
see a
sweet.
Tiger Force Phalanx, right?
That's awesome
Phalanx.
because you
Uh,
can order a Night Force one right from Gridiron, right? But you can't get a Tiger Force one.
well, I mean, there's probably a lot more demand for I would think, for a Night Force one because it's probably more versatile, right? You probably fit it in with more
Yeah.
stuff, I would think.
People like black.
So,
His 788,
yeah, well,
yeah, it goes along with that whole ground pounder, right?
Well, I was gonna actually pull up. You mentioned the black one. The one that they had at Joe Fest was the black one, and I've got a couple pictures of it, but they're on my other. They're on my other hard drive. I got ready to get them pulled up, and I'm like, ah, man, they're on. I'm not there. I ain't getting them out there on the other hard drive. So,
Yeah.
but I
Th-
like
this
the
episode's about
olive one.
yeah. I was gonna say this episode's about time, and there was no time to pull up the old Night Force pictures.
Yeah, there was no
Yeah.
time for that. So,
No time.
Did I say hi to Menjoza? If I don't remember, I'm doing it now. What's up, Menjoza?
Mhm.
And there is Stanley Eberhard is in the house. Pulse shipped my Star Wars Carson Teva, toy tuber and friend of Noel. I don't know who that is,
Yeah.
but I'm glad they shipped it.
Yeah. Star Wars. Mhm.
I'm glad they shipped it to you. So, well, let's talk about before we jump into much. I'm gonna let you talk about the Falnix, but I was gonna before we do, did anybody catch the Trench Viper and the battle toilet thing
Ooh,
yesterday when it went back up on Pulse? It went back
the
up and
resurgence.
it was up for a couple of hours. It was up for like
Yeah,
right at 2 hours. I was just wondering if anybody
yeah.
got in on that. U.S. Combat Dojo was here. What's up, dude? So I actually
So
did catch it, and I did order one.
you did you? Did you already have
Yeah.
one, or did you not? Did you miss that the first time?
No, I've got it. I haven't opened it because after
Okay.
everybody started getting them, and like I wasn't thrilled about the thing to start with. I'm thrilled that we're finally getting the prospect of modular small play sets because you and I have talked about that quite a bit. Even though I don't love
Mhm.
it, I ordered it, and I ordered it when I ordered it mostly just because it was a Pulse exclusive, and who knows if you're ever going to see it again. And then it vanished. But when I got it, I'm like, okay, well, still not real thrilled about it. I'll probably open it, whatever. And then I started seeing pictures of people opening it and putting it together. I watched a review or two, and it's like, it looks kind of silly if you just have one. I mean, they knew what they were
Well, and
doing making it the way they made it.
for sure. Absolutely. And this is, I feel bad because I missed out on it and I didn't feel too bad about it. I felt like it would come back at some point. And then the Joe Steel Core one came out and I managed to get in on that. And I only ordered one. But you're feeling the same way I'm feeling. And it's because I've watched enough reviews and people who've sat with it long enough that they're all the same voice. They're all saying, you kind of need three of these. Like
Yeah.
each one that I've watched has arrived at that sentiment. Like, I need three of these to maximize its potential for my collection. And when it came back the
So
other day, you warned me. You said it's up, and I was like, maybe I'll order it. And I was like, I can't really afford to do three things with this right now. I don't really want to either because we've been talking about our shelf space, and everybody's saying I'm getting to that pick and choose moment, right? With my collection where I might say no to something that Classified has. And so I said no again because I feel like yet again, we're going to see another window of availability a year from now with these.
possibly so. I mean, we're still waiting on that ferret to come back around though, but maybe. But I started seeing pictures of people that had two, and you can put
Mhm.
two together, and two makes it actually look like something. So I had my one and I didn't open it because I'm like, all right, I'm either going to sell it or trade it, or I'm just going to wait until maybe I can get another one. And I got another friend that had an extra, and we were talking. I'm like, if you can sell it, sell it. If you don't sell it, I may get it from you. And then it come back
Mhm.
up, and I saw it, and I'm like, well, I'm going to order a second one. Just now I'll have two, and now I'll open the damn thing. Um, so
Yeah.
And it actually already I got the left the building notice for it today. Like
Oh wow.
that's pretty fast. Yeah, that is pretty
I
quick. So I
I haven't even gotten that for Slice and Dice and Snake Armor, and I got the hey, we're getting that ready to ship notice. That's wild.
but
Just
nobody
like that, you get the
but
Dredge
you
Viper.
haven't been
Yeah.
charged, right?
Oh,
You haven't taken any money for those.
I don't know.
I got
Maybe I
those
have to check the statements. Yeah.
I got those too. I mean that slice and dice email
Mhm.
um I don't know what a couple weeks ago. And I've only got that one for the snake armor back in shit whenever that was, like August. But I haven't been charged for any of that stuff. So you're not going to get a notice until, at least a day after they take the money. So I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on
No,
with that
just like I
stuff.
said, the warning email system just doesn't tell me anything when I get an email
Oh,
from them
no.
that something's getting prepped to ship. I'm like, that's awesome. Did you also think of anything else today? Because it's not relevant. Like it's not coming.
And,
Uh, It will
and
not leave the building
that
on
was a
August
lot.
6th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it
that was
looks
a
like
lie.
that was a lie.
Yeah.
I just pulled it up. They've got September 23rd on the Snake Armor. So hopefully soon. I think
Right.
Crystal Ball is the 15th, so people should start be getting charged for him soon if you got him ordered at Pulse.
Mhm.
Just
I still haven't
do
seen my
the
Walmart Beachhead and Quick Kick, and they've been with them for a while, right? They're sticking to their online date for that, which I'm kind of surprised. Like, man, it was on shelves all over the states, but you're going to hold it to the online release date still? That sucks.
they usually do with the Walmart and the Target stuff. Like they'll give them their release date, like whatever the store
Mhm.
is. But Pulse usually sticks to it on theirs for the
Well,
exclusives. I mean, they did with Breaker.
no, but I mean, I ordered my set through the Walmart online, and what I'm saying is like they put it on the shelves, but the online store still has a later release date, and I'm like, how does that even? Why are you either have it or you don't? If you have it, get it out. You know, if it
Oh,
was through
okay,
Pulse,
I
I get
got
it.
you.
They have a different date. Yeah, Pulse is going to have the different dates that they're committed to, but Walmart continues
All
to
right,
confound me.
Walmart be bullshitting sometimes though. I mean, we've seen it
Yeah.
time and time again. Bobby Wald says I plan on picking up one of those silicone mold kits so I can make molds of the diamond plate section. That way I don't have gaps when I have it connected. So like a T with the where it's flush. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if it's silicone, you probably put it in there and it'll flex. You won't have to worry
Well,
about it snapping the C clamps.
well, the silicone mold is what he's going to pour the resin into. He'll cast these. He'll make lots of them, right?
Oh, the silicone. Okay, I thought he was talking about like
Yeah.
casting it in actual
It'll-
silicone. Okay,
That's
the
how I
mold.
read
So
that. That's how I read that. It sounds
okay,
like he plans on casting these, which is smart, right?
okay.
That's what a lot of
I
tabletop
have
gamers do for terrain. They cast them.
okay,
So here we
okay.
are,
I
6
have
inch figures and the same techniques. Yeah.
I've got a couple of silicone flamingo ice cube trays, so I'm pretty expert when it comes to that stuff.
Well, yeah,
So
there is a technique. Yeah. What's Steve say?
Steve says he picked up two, enjoying them. Made me glad I ordered two of the Joe version. See, that's my problem. I ordered one of the Joe version too, and now I know, and I
Nah,
don't
and
want two
knowing's
of the
only
Joe
half the
one.
battle. Yeah.
I
It's not
may
even the
I
full
may
battle.
actually cancel the Joe one. Honestly,
Well,
like
I I like the Joe one because it came with the desert painted weapons sets, which coincidentally I have a desert painted stinger that I did, so I needed something for the back. So I'm getting basically a free weapon option with it. Yeah, like all of that. But I laugh because the only upside to having a Joe single one for me is you have somewhere to put your bag of hammers soldier that's always a screw up. You know, the Carl guy, right?
yeah,
You put him on gate guard at the opening of the range and be like, don't let anyone drive on the range while we're shooting. Okay, Chief. That's where he goes in that one isolated hut. You now have that in your collection,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. Sticking back there, that's where you put first
Yep.
face cult Falcon. That's where he goes.
That's right. So ugly the
He
colonel won't
goes in
pass the
there.
gate till he's done. Yeah.
Let's see. Turk says, "Come on, Snake Armor," and Amazon's been killing it lately. Amazon has been killing it lately, and Amazon shipping Flint. A lot of people got Flint today from Amazon. I didn't even know he was in stock. But
Oh, wow.
I was sure enough, I saw people got retro Flint. I don't know if they've gotten CoverGirl, but they have shipped the first batch of Flint. I went and checked, and I think it's like 2 weeks now for Flint. And I think Hasbro's got him at October 1st. So, but the thing
Yeah.
is, Amazon will usually restock October
See,
1st
I don't
on Pulse for Flint.
yeah, I don't use Amazon out here. Like I'll use Hasbro Pulse, I'll use a couple of other minor sites, ones here in Canada, and then I'll just use EB Games. And what did arrive at EV Games yesterday, I'm so glad I dodged it because, like you, I had a couple of pre-orders in a couple of different places on this one. But Snake Eyes Polar Bear showed up at EV Games and they were like, "This is coming for you today." And I'm like, "No, I canceled that motherfucker. No, 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 no." You know, I already got
Fool me
mine.
once,
Yeah,
fool
I
me
don't need no
once.
two polar bears.
See, that's the opposite of what most people are saying. They want mini polar bears.
Oh, I'd rather have many dollars than two polar bears. You know, like it's
You're
if it
right.
was just a regular if it was just a regular figure going on all these clearance at some point, maybe. But if it's sitting at its current price point, yeah, no, one bear's enough, bitch.
So I still don't have that set. I still don't have that bear. I just want to know if it's going to fit in the back of the Snowcat when you take the missile launcher out. Every opportunity I get
Yes.
to ask Hasbro a question between now and then, that's going to be my question: is will the polar bear fit in the back of the Snowcat?
So I've been
Um,
thinking about that a lot because I've been looking at the size of the phalanx, and I think the phalanx and the snowcat are actually going to be very similar in size. And the way the compartmentalization of the driver and the crew compartment works. Yes, your bear will fit in the back. It's whether he'll be able to stand up on those seats with the gap between them or not. That's really going to be, I think, your only problem.
I'll make it fit. I bet it'll fit in the phalanx if you
Well,
stretch
are
him
we
out.
talking about a live bear, first of all? Like, if we're not talking about a live bear, yes. Yes, it's going to fit anywhere you put that thing, right? Chop them up. But
um, Frank watched your review on the phalanx and
thank you, Frank.
phalanx. Great
Phalanx.
review. Phalanx. There's not enough
So,
long vowel sounds in there for me.
well, you watch
Phal-
X-Men cartoons, right? The X-Men cartoon, the Phalanx was one of the villains the X-Men had to face. The techno-organics that were related to Cable in a way, kind of deal. Warlock, all them, they were called the Phalanx. You've heard the word before, my friend. Your tongue just doesn't know it.
I've heard it, but I've never had to say it. Even, I mean, that's what the missile rack for the ramen hunters called, and I just called it the Wolverine part.
That's right. The
It's
Wolverine
the
part, yes,
Wolverine
but it's also the phalanx.
the phalanx.
So I said it in my video. The reason here's my UFI on why it was a good name for this lav is because the way that up armored vehicles work in an explosive environment like IEDs and everything, they have this
Mhm.
extra layer of armor they put on when they go overseas, and they fit like puzzle pieces. And you can't just take one piece off and replace it. You basically have to undo a hexagonal pattern around it, take all these pieces of armor off to change one piece. So it's like a phalanx. So I thought that was a really cool name that they gave that thing by accident, I'm sure. But
Yeah, probably so. Shane says I want that set minus the bear. If the shipping wasn't so ridiculous to do it, I'd say let's just split one because I really only want the bear. But by the
yeah,
time we ship stuff back and forth, we probably might as well buy the set. And that set's going to go on sale at some point. That set's definitely going on sale.
well, that's a deal for
Uh,
somebody. Yeah, if you can split it with Shane.
um, Stanley says Dreadnought modular bike system is my burning Joe question. There, they won't. If they do that,
Yes.
I don't think it'll be modular. I think they'll just be like, here's a Dreadnought bike, and maybe have a couple set of like handlebars you can change out or something. Steve says,
Yeah.
then we can answer the age old question: does a bear shit in the snowcat?
Yeah. Wipes his ass with a snow job.
That's right. Let's
But to the
see.
dreadnought point, for Stanley, like the only way, because I've been saying that for a while as well, modular pieces for variable packs, like doing the Thunder Machine or the bikes, having all these different options so you could build it many different ways. That's a very dreadnought thing that I think Hasbro had to have looked at, probably did consider. I don't know if they're planning on doing it, but wouldn't it be cool if you bought the Dread Cycle and some of the components from the Dread Cycle fit on the Thunder Machine and vice versa? Right? Like
Dad,
there's
that'd be
something
cool.
there for that.
There is, but that is way too much foresight for Hasbro.
Well, sometimes you gotta wonder,
it's
right? What's easy, what it
it's
isn't.
it's great, but I don't think I don't think they think that far ahead. Other than packaging.
Oh, you negative
Maybe.
Billy.
I know I'm so negative. That's what I get told. I'm so negative. I have a grumpy
North
bear
versus
collection
South.
because it's me. Um,
That's all right. I'll be the optimist. You be the pessimist. It's our thing.
I mean, crusty down south. That sounds like a whole different type of thing, doesn't it?
No more name changes.
Yeah, no, I can't do that anymore either. I got enough names. Good Lord.
Punk will kill you.
Machine Man says, "What's the gun that shoots down rockets? Is that a Phalanx 2?"
Oh, they like the chain gun. Yes, I believe the chain gun that it's on some naval carriers. There's like a 7.62 chain gun. I think they call the Phalanx as well. It's the minigun. And I think some of our helicopters are outfitted too. I forgot about that thing. He's right.
Okay, well, that's a good call, man. Well, it's just kind of a catch-all term, then. I guess.
It just sounds so
Oh,
serious, right? It's
yeah.
yeah.
Tark says the crusty blender.
Uh,
There's
don't
so many, so
don't
many
drink anything
adjectives.
that comes out of a crusty blender, guys.
No, no. I have a blender. I can't even find the part that you put all the ingredients in. Last time I looked for it, I could only find the bottom. I don't even know how that happens.
Drunken
You think
escapades making margaritas.
maybe I just threw the thing out when I finished it. I don't know. All
Uh,
right, so before we get into too much, let's hear about that phalanx. So you just put your video up literally about an hour and a half ago. It went live. I'm about 2/3 of the way through watching it. You've done a really good job on your
Thank you.
video showing that thing off and relating it to your experience, and you make a very good point as to why you wanted it. I doubt there's ever been a vehicle that has been so personal to somebody unless it's a situation, like that's ever been made. So I'm gonna try putting you on full screen and we'll see
We'll
how
see how that
blurry you
goes,
are.
guys. Yeah.
So it's it's
I'll see it
blurry.
on this screen better, but yeah,
Uh,
it's blurry,
so
but you can see it, guys. That's all.
yeah, tell us about it.
The thing was that I said I'd try to keep the video 30 minutes because I don't want to test people's attention spans, and you'd rather have somebody listening while they're watching, right? So, but
Yeah,
it would have been really easy for me to make a 3-hour video going, and that's what this is, and that's what that is, and this is bullshit. And I, credit where credit is due. I thank Punk with Toys for recognizing how hard I try not to be that obnoxious army guy going, well, that's not factual and things like this. And it helped me really look at this thing for the toy it is, right? It's a great
right.
nostalgia piece for me. I don't need to share every nuance of that with you guys. So this to me, I think for our group and our circles, I would like to shift the attention to, yeah, I'm really passionate about this, but think on what I'm saying in the video. Are you ever going to see a GI Joe APC come out of HasLab or hit that shelf? And right now, Gridiron is offering you one of the best substitutes I could ever think of. That's the essence of what I had in the video. So the rest of it, I'd say watch the video. There's some fun footage I had with it, and that's about it. Relating a crew to it, that was my way of kind of getting the army experience into it. That was it.
Yeah, I like the way that you approach that, kind of walking through, taking somebody and saying, this is where they're going to start out. This is what they're going to do. So I'm not going to give your whole video away, but that was a different
No.
approach. I liked it. So,
Well, because my channel does have some Canadian soldiers that were a part of it, but there's also some ex-military from the States that I noticed have tuned in and chimed in because you guys have the Striker, which is based off this, but
mhm.
it's a Canadian vehicle. And it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, well, I keep it for a half hour because I know guys are considering it, and there's things you need to know. Like I'm already getting emails from that video from the Canadian subscribers that are interested in this, because this is not something to be taken lightly in the toy market right now. These big items, there's
Right.
baggage with these items, right? Be it HasLab, be it Fans Hobby, be it Gridiron. Um, when we're in Canada during this tariff situation and all these other things are taking longer and it's getting more stressful. So that was the big takeaway from the video, as well as I invited some people to send me emails if they want to know the fiscal breakdown for one of these.
And looks like that situation's not in the short term going to get any better, you know. Probably not in the near future, hopefully in the far future, but it's a roller coaster we've been on for the last 8 months or whatever.
Well,
So yeah.
so it gave me an interesting thing to ponder with a company like Gridiron, right? Because it's my very first Gridiron product, and I, like I said, I go big or I go home. I come to play, right? This is a guy that owns his own company. He's just 3D printing these, and he has a small staff of either family or friends or both that does all the assembly, packaging, and email side of things. And when I look at what the current cost of toys and everything is doing, it's what patience people had for Gridiron as far as shipping and understanding gets eroded as the toy market becomes more volatile. They're getting more stressed over the average toys, and now the Gridiron stuff, it might cost Gridiron business that people are annoyed with Hasbro. Like
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff I wonder about. So,
Yeah. So I mean, you already know, they make it pretty clear that there's going to be a wait when you order from them.
mhm.
Like, they let you know that up front. It's in writing and everywhere that it takes a little longer to get their stuff because it's all hand done and it's a smaller operation. So, and then with
Mhm.
something that size, what was it you told me? Mark told you they're able to do 4 a day, or was it 6 of those a day?
So before I realized I could just text Mark, I had been sending emails and wasn't getting responses. I asked Tony because he lives right next door practically to Gridiron, Mark's place. And he told me, well, yeah, Mark's only pumping out about 6 phalanxes a day, and they're about a month behind in their orders, right? Like that's why he says 30 to
Okay.
45 days minimum, right, for these things. So I understood that once the communication was going, right? What I think Canadian orders and maybe UK and Australia also need to understand is, now that this tariff situation is developing into actual border concerns, what you're going to see is your mail is held longer at customs as every package is now being fully examined to classify the contents more thoroughly. Right.
Yeah.
So I believe this is how my packages got separated. One was a 4 pound, one was a 14 pound package. And you're going to see more of that as stuff goes. And I think you're going to see a lot more people that fail to understand that's what's going on. It's not the company that's providing the toy, it's the distribution side of things now.
Right. And it's
Mhm.
everything kind of culminating, like you said. It's probably the way it goes through. They're looking at a much bigger, heavier package. They're scrutinizing that a little bit more. So it's
I
probably
believe
not
so.
going to get better
Yeah.
anytime soon. So say what's up to
Mm.
Evil Dookie. What's going on?
Hey, buddy.
And Evil Dookie, when you were on with I think when you were on with Punk, there was a y'all were going back and forth about the the SoCal Joe exclusives. I think's what y'all were talking about, and I never got it. I was trying to find out which one you were trying to get, and because I may be able to help with that if you never got it. So um,
Mhm.
let me know if that's cleared up or not. Because burnout, if it's burnout, I can get you a burnout. Um, so Blitz, what's going
Evil Duke
on? How you doing today?
Evil Duke is another guy I want to single out for this thing because it happened in a comment in my video. Unfortunately, I think it was Steve Martin, one of the guys in the chat on that we see all the time, was a maintainer, and he drove a lav platform with all the maintenance equipment on it and the crane and everything like that. Evil Dookie was a maintainer as well. And I bring these guys up because the GI Joe classified and military toy line has a higher number of military veterans for obvious reasons within it. And if it ever gets back to Mark, I would say I really hope you have more plans for this chassis to bring new tops for it, to bring the maintenance guys and the support roles in as options for people to order these because the market is there. It's very much there. And I wanted to bring that up because Steve Martin brought it up and he said the likelihood of them ever doing something like this for me, my connection to my vehicle that I
Yeah.
served in isn't high. And I was like, isn't it or is it? Because Gridiron can really accomplish a lot with the chassis they've done so far. So Evil Dookie, I would like to say you might see a maintenance vehicle at a Gridiron one day if Mark gets around to it. That'd be brilliant, right? Same as Steve.
Yeah, and they're probably doing the same thing that Hasbro does is they're looking at, they're tooling this to make this or that, but what can they use this part of the file for down the road? Like you said, just fitting a new body on top of that existing chassis. So hopefully that's something
Yeah.
they can explore because they've definitely hit home runs with both that and with the Hound, I think.
Yeah. And like I said, they build these things so modular. Like I had to buy the turret separate. Sorry, I'm taking it off just because I can. But the way that they build this, it is
What
designed to
she
have
said.
add-ons on top. I'm not going to take it off then. No, I don't want to mess with it anymore. Anyways, you can take all the top pieces off and put new top parts on, such as a crane or boxes. So I think it's really cool. Sorry, I'm in a very
Were
phalanxy mood.
That's all right. We like hearing you talk about your phalanx. Um,
My big
were
2 foot
there?
long phalanx.
That's right. Were there vehicles similar to that had like cranes on them, like for recovery? I
Yes.
guess, but battlefield recovery.
Yeah.
So
So, like I said, this is shit I choked back in the video, but I did show images. We built the Lav platform at General Dynamics in London, Ontario, and the Americans liked it so much. That's what your Striker was based off of, right? And
right,
so this has been in the Canadian military through generations. So I trained up on the Bison when I was in Kosovo and an assault troop, and that was an APC variant where the turret's gone. And then I did Coyotes, which was the Recce variant that had surveillance package, but the U.S. Army has them with marine drive on them. We put extra fuel. Then the Lav 3,
yeah,
but like, yes, these vehicles are all over. A lot of countries use them, including yours.
yeah. So are you? Have you already looked up some Canadian decals for it? Because I know you're gonna do it. So like
I
Canadian
did
flag
ask.
and some.
Yeah, I've been looking on. I stopped at a couple hobby stores hoping that somebody just made the traditional model decals for them or decals,
Hmm.
whatever we're calling them. But I think I'm gonna have to go onto Etsy or somebody and see any. I gotta try and find a maple leaf, like the tactical green maple leaf. I want to find that
Yeah,
for it, but I
yeah,
also want
that'd
to
be
put like a
awesome.
World War II pinup girl on there and do some weathering and all that stuff sometime.
Yeah, that would be cool, man. I'm
Mhm.
interested to see what you do with it, and I've seen. I told you one guy that I don't know him. I just interact with him in another Facebook group. He's got one, and he just did the weathering on it with the model kit weathering. Thing looks awesome.
It's a pound and a
Um,
half of weathering powder. Like that's a lot of weathering to do. I'm looking at it now going, fuck, that's gonna take hours.
I have no idea, but it sounds like a lot.
I'll
uh,
tell you something funny that just occurred to me really quick. I realize I'm dominating things, but I have to issue an apology to my air sentry from Afghanistan, my last tour, my buddy Cade. Me and him got in a huge argument over our lav because he insisted on putting a hammock in the back for himself for when we weren't rolling around. He wanted to sit in this hammock, and I was up in the gunner's hole, jacking him up every day, going, "You put that fucking hammock up, I'm gonna fucking kill you!" Like, because we
that's
need all the
awesome.
space. But now that I have one for a toy, I'm like, hammock's a brilliant idea. I want a hammock on this, Kate. I'm so sorry. You were right. It's awesome.
That was my next question was, are you now going to be looking for a 1/12 scale hammock to hang in the back
I think
somewhere?
so.
That'd
Oh
be
yeah,
awesome.
like I
So,
said, I have a list for Mark of all these great little add-ons to throw onto this thing if he's ever
yeah,
interested.
that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Mm.
Need to say what's up to Ronnie Trickshot. He says,
Hey, buddy.
YouTube sucks. Couldn't find this in my news feed this morning, nor did I get a notification. Guess I'm here now. Sorry I'm late, boys. Well, you're here. That's all that matters, Aaron. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
And
So Ronnie, I get the same notification. I just remember, okay, if Darren was on with Pop last week, that means this week we're doing it. So that's my notification.
that means it's my turn. Matthew Matson is
Mhm.
also here. Says you may have restricted mode on. So check that. Let's see. Todd says I like third parties making vehicles Hasbro most likely won't release versus vehicles they probably will release. Um, yeah, I do. I do too. I love the fact that um, something like that, because you're right, Hasbro. If the only thing we ever would get would be maybe the APC, maybe. I'd love to see it. It would be huge. That's a
Oh,
discussion for another time. We've talked about it, but like that, the APC is not that. It's two different animals.
no, and the APC is one like that was one of my favorite Joe vehicles for play as a kid
Yeah,
because of what it could do, right? Like, and it got overshadowed so badly by that hovercraft once that was out. I remember is like APC and Mobat everything, then boom, hovercraft and water moccasin, everything, right?
yeah.
But
The
yeah,
APC
people
went
talk about
away.
yeah. So when people talk about the next HasLab, you didn't hear anybody talking APC as much as they were talking about Do the Whale, right? So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think you could do more with a whale, but they're just the APC. I think is just as cool. It's just they serve kind of two different functions, but just happens they can both float. So,
Yeah.
Evil Dookie says, "Ask, get in touch with Bad Mother Tattoos." And I know they do a lot of selling on eBay, but I'm sure you can probably get a direct line to them as far as the decals for it because they make a lot of custom decals. I actually was looking up to see. I was trying to find the hood emblem for the car from Death Proof because for the Ramen
Oh,
Racer.
right.
And
Yeah,
I've been
that'd be
looking all
awesome.
over, and I can't find it in 1/12. I've been able to find it in other scales, but I can't find it in 1/12. So yeah, Bad Mother would be probably one of your best options to find those for it.
So
And he
I
says he'll
appreciate.
make custom water slides too.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, who suggested that? Was it Evil Dookie? I'll try and get in
Evil
touch
Dookie.
with you after to see if you've got the connections for that because I'll pay for that to come ship. Um, Funny thing is, this is just for you Americans like you, Darren. One of the things I considered was it's too bad I don't have the shelf space or the fiscal budget to order a second one of these because our labs work in patrols more often than not. But when
Right.
we were getting ready for my second tour, we did a lot of training in Texas and we had to ship them down to like San Antonio and whatnot via railhead, all of our vehicles. And when we got there, I was part of the advance party because I was part of the sergeant major's crew to go get these vehicles from the railhead. And somewhere between Wainwright, Alberta, and San Antonio, Texas, we came into some Latin tagging gangs that tagged all our vehicles with like the same graffiti you'd see on the same of the track. And so,
On the box
for
cars.
about a month, yeah, so a few of our vehicles in the echelon, you'd see them for me, be like, man, the Canadians look good. And they used to be like, Juarez rules, SA written on the side,
That
smashed out window.
reminds me of that first Steven Seagal movie, A Hard to Kill, where he's with the chick and they're in the Jeep and it gets shot at and he goes and he trades it to the guys and they trade it
Yes.
for I don't remember what it was, a car. And I love that part, man. As it's fading out and they drive away, one of the guys is like, this Jeep looks like it's been in a fucking war, man.
Yeah,
what that
like
what that sounds
our
like.
our our officers were so mad because somebody in movements was going to get in crap, but the whole squadron looking at their vehicles and half of them have graffiti on the sides. We're just like, this is awesome.
That's so funny. Not exactly
Yeah,
gonna camouflage with this bright blue
no,
bright blue
just
face
nothing.
on it, but
No, just
um
somewhere along the lines, the stereotypes come true. If it sits in a yard long enough, it's getting tagged, bitch.
we have a huge rail yard in Nashville, big CSX yard, and you go by there, and it's like every single thing in it is just it's been tagged to hell. I want to
Yeah.
highlight this comment from 610 Yojo Daddy. By the way, go Vols, beat the dogs, go Vols. I'm not a Vols fan. I know it's almost blasphemy because I'm in Tennessee, but I'm an Alabama fan, and I
So,
hope
is this
Georgia beats
college
them.
football?
This is
College football?
SEC, yeah.
College basketball?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Okay,
football. So, yeah,
football.
sorry,
Okay.
he probably just unsubscribed.
Nah,
uh,
no, that's my fault, man. You're not
Jetman,
a fan of his team, and I don't even know what he's talking about.
that's right. Jetman says I had the APC. I lost the seat belts. Ditto. That's probably everybody that had it. And Dookie says I had Bad Mother do some custom decals for Legacy Firefighter, my hometown fire department, that come out great. And
Good call.
Gun Bunny says Bad Mother is where I get all my water slides. He'll make any custom size. So
Oh, cool.
um,
Well, then, guys, I really
Mac,
appreciate you joining us tonight and sharing that with us because I'm going
yeah,
to have to look that up. Sure as hell ain't gonna
Matthew
hand paint
says
them.
Bad Mother makes awesome stuff. Like, I mean, I've heard of them. I know they make good stuff. I've never bought anything. I'm not a customizer, so. But I mean,
Mhm.
I knew they had good product. But so that's good. You got a lot of votes for Bad Mother.
No, that speaks well of
Um,
Bad Mother. They must be pleased that they get that kind of referral too.
yeah. So I see a lot of people online on the Facebook groups talking about using their stuff. So
Mhm.
well, let's do some news here. Got
Yes.
a few things we'll get into here. So let me get my folders
Pop
open.
shop.
So I guess first thing we'll show is this right here. Go to window, go to there, and we kind of talked about it just a little bit, but so Baston. So Hasbro's moving from where we've always known them to be in Rhode Island to Boston. It's
Yeah.
about a 2 hours, hour and a half to 2 hours away, I think, with good traffic. So, man, this sucks for people that work at Hasbro, right? Um,
Well,
knowing the headquarters
absolutely.
is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, posted to a city. That's been my bread and butter my whole career. It's never easy to have your boss tell you, guess what, you're moving, or you don't have a job. Um, yeah, that's big news because Boston, like you were saying backstage, it ain't cheap to live in Boston, is it?
No, man, Boston is one of the most expensive cities in the country to live in, from what I have heard. And
Uh-huh.
so you got people that if they're going to stay there, they're going to have to make this commute. So if you work an 8 hour day, that's literally half of your day driving to work, working and driving back. If you're lucky, if
No,
if traffic's not bad. So um,
hell no.
Stanley says 45 miles from address to address via Google. When I looked at it, the drive time was about an hour and a half, like an hour and 32 minutes, but that could have been traffic at the time. So, but
Well, you got to
driving
hope that.
through Boston too, you got to drive it's all the way like in Boston proper.
Yeah, and this is where you need the city infrastructure to constantly be advancing their public transit systems to make faster and faster travel times, right? because as cities expand, more people are on the outer periphery. They got to get to work. So this is a prime example of that. Some people may not move. They might choose to make that commute.
So that's another thing that's going around about this is this like a subtle way for them to shed some people, where we always talk about them doing their layoffs and things. So
Well,
is this
so
like an attempt for them to run some people off? Maybe. I don't know.
maybe, but what also occurs to me is as a Canadian, I think in terms of provinces, our provinces are huge compared to your states for the most part, like in land mass. So I get that
Yeah.
commuting between one state to another might not necessarily be a hassle. So if I'm right, right, where were they? They were in Rhode Island is a state, is it not?
Yes.
Yeah. And then we're talking about moving to Massachusetts, which we're saying is an hour or so commute, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But is the taxing the same from that state to the next? Like the
Yeah. Well,
taxation
see,
and like, yeah, that's what I'm
Todd
curious about.
Todd mentions that here. I mean, it's got to be tax incentives to move for them to uproot and move, from where they've been forever,
Oh,
and then even though it's not that far, but it's in a different state. So we'll see. We run into that in Tennessee. Tennessee here gives huge tax breaks to corporations. So there's a lot of headquarters here. Cracker
and
Barrel's
also
been in the news. Their headquarters is here.
well, don't you have a Boston has a major shipping harbor there too, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, huge.
So I mean,
Um,
there's an advantage in them being closer to that as well. I don't know, but you bring up the taxation. We talk about well, it benefits the company, but is that the same as benefiting the employees of the company? Like, does the family taxation rate match the benefit? And that's what I'm curious about. Like, you were right. Maybe
yeah,
this is thinning the herd. I don't know.
and Sabir says more expensive than New York City in some communities of Boston. So that's what I
Yeah,
had heard as well. And I got this comment from Dookie Starred here. Says Crow he don't have social media, but he can email you a couple of pictures
sounds
of
good, buddy. Whatever
Bad
works,
Mother
buddy. I can
stuff.
always reach out. Mhm. I'll find a
Jay
way to get a hold
Astro,
of you or Gun Buddy.
Jay Astro, and Daredevil Dave are here, and
Yeah.
Astro says, "Is the backyard battlefield also moving to Boston?" Not a chance. Do I sound like I'd make it in Boston?
Fuck. I couldn't make it in Boston for two
Yeah.
hours without getting in a fight and ending up in a hospital.
The only way I think I'd do all right up there is I am Irish on one side. So War
No.
Chest is
See,
here. What's up, War Chest?
I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, so we don't get out of Boston alive. It just doesn't happen. End of
Right.
story.
Um, War Chest says he got Flint yesterday and he rocks. The best one
Nice.
they've done for sure. It's good to know. Um,
So
East Coast main shipping or Savannah and New York, New Jersey.
So this is where I really feel for the Hasbro employee for, like yet another trial and tribulation they go through to remain employed at a toy company of all things is this moving aspect. And I really do feel for them. I know what it's like to move from one province where the tax rate is, very low to suddenly being forced by my career to into a province where it's the highest across the country. My housing went from like what was it, $100,000 house to a $600,000 house in one move. Like things like that. So,
Yeah.
and when you're talking about a big corporation, I wonder if they have assistance programs and things like that to transition all employees or just their executives.
Yeah, that's it. That's what Stanley says here. What about those lower level employees who cannot afford the move? I mean, I'm sure the
R-
dude that's probably waxing the floor at Hasbro makes good money, but can he move to
Well,
Boston to do it in the new place?
Well, let's be realistic. This is where that, unfortunately, that university degree and that padded resume of money that that company spent training you into that position, that's where that
Yeah,
carries you into a move. If they didn't spend hardly a dime training you to work the mailroom, you're getting replaced.
yeah,
Like
that's
it's worth it. Yeah.
and you bet they'll probably spend that time automating some stuff, so maybe they don't quite need as many people. So I'm going to pull up something else you guys want to see. Um,
Mhm.
guys want to see what their new headquarters is going to look like. If you haven't looked it up, here it is. This is where it is. Zoom way out, so it is all the way over here
Right near a shipping
in
port. Yeah.
Boston. And I didn't realize Boston was that fucking big. I've never been there. But look at that. Good
Mm.
Lord. Um, so let's go back and get back to it. So we'll do Street View on it.
I can't help but notice that they chose to do this right after Woody said he stopped collecting the Marvel Legends series and he was getting rid of them. Like this broke them.
Maybe
What's next, Woody? You're not going to troop build 31 soldiers for your classified? Like we're getting out of here. So Woody, like you must feel really partly responsible for this in some level.
yeah, I blame Woody, man. So
I
this
don't know
is
if
the
Woody's here
building
right
that
now, but
no, he's not. So here, this is their building. So this is their new headquarters building. Look how big this thing
oh,
is. So I've
isn't that
got it.
exactly what you fantasize a toy store looking like? Is exactly like that.
This is like that flagship Toys R Us location in New York back in the day. Um,
It looks like
so
the
I'm
Ant-Man
gonna
prop from the movie.
we need a Godzilla in there.
What is this? A
I'm gonna
headquarters for Ant Stern? Blow it up.
I'm gonna read a little bit about this building because I have the post pulled up where they announced it. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but packing up our
Go,
game
go, go.
pieces, heading to a brand new home at 400 Summer Street in Boston, Massachusetts. The new space, 7 floors across 265,000 square feet, will anchor our toys, board games, licensing businesses, and corporate services, housing teams that power some of the world's most iconic brands. And then and this is all what I read into this. Why Boston? Because it's buzzing with innovative thinkers, world class partners, and tons of creative energy. Exactly what we need for our next adventure. And I read between that line and thought exactly what you guys have been saying is, and some hellacious tax breaks to move from the
Mhm.
home that we've always had to an entirely another ass state. But this building, I mean, it's fucking massive, man. Look at this damn thing.
So
It's
I
huge.
don't know, man. Redescribe what did they say they've included in that building? Can you just read the brag page about what's in that building again?
It is 7 floors across 265,000 square feet. Toys, board games, licensing businesses, and corporate services is what's moving
Oh
to
God,
this.
that's so exciting to hear about. Isn't that exciting to
Isn't it?
hear about when you're talking about a toy company? Rather than tell me about, what exciting design studios are segregated out there. We've given an entire level to Marvel. We've given an entire level to, digital. They just describe it like rental space.
Yeah,
That's so much fun.
that, that's what it sounds like. It just
Mm.
sounds like a real estate listing to me. Um,
Yes.
Ronnie says they've lost their soul, family values, looking after their employees, enriching the lives of kids. That's what made them successful. And all that died with the Hassenfelds.
Well,
You're
I
not
mean,
wrong.
you're not wrong, Ronnie, but that's not really Hasbro's fault. That's just the culture and the society that we developed over the years and taking things like toys for granted. It just is what it is. You're not going to find like a lack of corruption in any successful business, I don't think.
Yeah, it's gonna be in all of it in some way, shape, or form. Clint Jorgensen's
Yeah.
in the house. Is going
Okay.
to Boston in October. Yep.
Yeah.
Jetman says it looks like extensive enterprises. Oh shit, does a little bit.
Am I wrong for just wanting Matt Damon and Ben Affleck to become new spokesmen for like one of the lines? Like Matt Damon can speak to Marvel Daredevil, like or not Matt Damon, Ben Affleck can.
they would.
Just have them do cameos. They love Boston.
I'd like to see him in a Mr. Potato Head ad.
Mhm.
It's like their big mascots, Mr. Potato Head. I'd like to see him in a Mr. Potato Head ad. All right, let me get my other screen back up here, and we'll move along a little bit. So then we all saw this. I just wanted to touch on it. So got some Joe stuff. This guy they announced sometime in the next 2 weeks is going to be going up the order, and I think he's probably going to be in stock. But um, I like most people, I thought this dude was just going to show up one day, and we were going to
Yeah.
get a post at like 10 a.m. saying legacy police officer going live at 1 p.m. or whatever. But they announced it, didn't give us an exact date, but they said in the next couple weeks expect this guy. So he's going to sell out
Oh,
immediately.
clearly. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what if this was just all a big PR thing and they're like, oh, maybe we got to get the printing right on the box. Let's just do something to, I don't know.
I think you're right. It is PRs and public relations. It's definitely that. It was something about the controversy of what was going on in Los Angeles. Definitely affected Hasbro's comfort levels to talk about this figure in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And though it jumped into limbo and we got nothing on it. But I don't think that was ever to be interpreted as we've canceled the figure. I think it was just we have to be so discreet. You're just going to have to assume this will come on schedule. You'll get no indications that it
Yeah.
is, though. And I think
I,
that's playing out. You're right. It's going to sell out
yeah.
100%.
I agree. I think that's exactly what they did. I don't think they ever were like, because this figure was already made, or it was
Mm.
probably already being loaded on a container when that happened. So I don't. They were never not. It's not. They're not Warner Brothers. They're not going to scrap the whole thing and hope for a tax write off. We were always going to get it, but I think
Yeah.
we ain't gonna spend a lot of time on it. But I think they made themselves look
No.
worse by pulling this thing. But either way, next couple weeks it's gonna be showing up.
Yeah.
But it's not a
So
Pulse exclusive though, so remember that. I mean, everywhere is gonna have this dude.
yeah, I talked to my guy at EB Games today about this figure, making sure that I had some pre-orders in on it because it is coming out of limbo. But just to draw eyes on why they would be reluctant to promote this. Let's think about how Hasbro releases a figure. Like, yes, they name drop, then they do digital renders. There's a whole bunch of discussion, and then eventually they do the scenes, right? The Hasbro photography that sells us
Yeah,
that figure with these great dioramas. And I think the problem was at the point that they were getting ready to do all this with this figure, and we see the photos now, and we saw a few of them at the time, is that felt like I think from a corporate level, you're taking a side in a current social situation, what's going on right now. So they had to stop
yeah.
just presenting all of that, right? Like I kind of get it. But yeah, I didn't ever buy into the oh, Hasbro's a bunch of wussies and they're cowards and they're this. I'm like, I think they're just being very careful as a company what they make their stakeholders feel, you know?
Well, I mean, I think I think it was dumb for them to pull it, but I understand why they did. Like I
Sure.
said, I think they did themselves more of a disservice by pulling it. But whatever.
Yeah.
No point debating that. That's just what I think about it. I'm glad it's finally coming up. It's going to
Sure.
show up. Todd says this will show up in stores, might have a chance. And he says holding it back made it more valuable to people. Think it was a great move. Maybe they predicted how many firefighters are going to be sitting on shelves, but I kind of
Well,
figured that with the firefighter. I'm waiting on clearance on them
it's
guys because I'm gonna get another one or two.
that I think that's the only thing really in the way making that a shelf warmer is just the fact that it's a higher price deluxe point, and this is going to be no
Yeah,
different. It's that cross
yeah,
compatibility too for collecting. Like, guys, some people might only by a classified police officer from this line and no other classified figure for a lot of reasons. Right? Like, yes, this is going to
Yeah.
be the hot figure of the year, I think.
Um, I think it will be for 6 weeks after it comes out, but I don't think it's going to be hard to get in the long run. It's going to be
I'm
it's going to
not.
blow up.
Yeah, I think regions, it'll be a regional seller, right? Like there's
Yeah,
probably a few states that have no desire to probably put these guys on their shelf right now.
yeah,
Same
you
as
got
provinces up
people.
here. We have it, it's not like we don't have that same sentiment sometimes with our forces up here, right? Like it happens.
Right.
Sometimes police just
Yeah,
aren't
man, it's
popular in
everywhere.
the, you know. Yeah.
It's everywhere. Jastro
Yeah.
says he's got some Hasbro news. The gummy fucking arm joint on my Green Goblin finally broke. Is yours bad? Mine's not that bad.
Yeah,
I
mine's
mean,
all
it's a
right.
little gummy, but
I gotta
uh,
investigate
it's,
mine now.
yeah, mine's actually I moved all this stuff around. Mine's actually right here.
Yeah.
So
The
you
goblin was
got that.
nearby.
So, yeah, I
Gummy
hadn't
arm, eh? Oh, I
the
can see
elbow.
that now. Yeah.
Yeah,
I really
it's a
didn't.
little gummy.
A little bit,
Um,
yeah. It's thin. It's that elbow joint.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's that thin
Hmm.
elbow. Sabir says, not holding my breath for that one. I found maybe 3 of the last 3 waves on pegs at any box store. We don't have Walmart, and I'd have to know a good one in Jersey. What, New York doesn't have Walmarts? What? That can't be
What you
right.
talking about, Willis?
Yeah, what you talking about, Sabir?
Mhm.
Woody Triple
To be a
Deuce, the
nigga like
figure
hey,
addict.
you're clowning. Yeah.
His ears must have been
Oh, there's
burning.
Woody.
There he is. There he is.
Woody,
What's
it's
up,
your
Woody?
fault Hasbro moved to Boston.
Yeah, what'd you do, man? What
That's
did
what
you
you missed.
do?
You stop
Viper
buying Marvel
Scouts in the
Legends and they
house.
can't pay the rent.
Viper Scouts here says, "Hey y'all," says, "So
Hey.
you'll buy a terrorist, but you draw a line at buying a cop." Well, I mean, depending on how deep you want to go with that discussion, there's probably some cities that that might be the case, but we're not going to get any deeper into it.
Yeah.
So the next one is this showed up the other day. The port arrivals is from Full Force. We've already seen that Ghost Viper and the Steeler 2-pack are showing up, but now we've got Pythona is supposedly hitting the ports right now. And I like her code name is Cow. It's Cow. Cow. So that was he posted that, and then today posted this one. The new wave as well as the retro bat are hitting ports. So boy, they open the floodgates. They just kick them open, don't they?
Well, I mean, yeah, here we go. It's now that doesn't just because they're imports does not increase or decrease expected shipping dates. It's just that they're in position, right? But I've noticed that before. We've heard things imports and they've sat for a while, but I kind of like that they're giving us these assurances. That's my
Well,
takeaway. I don't care that they're all coming and whatnot. I like the assurance that they're moving.
yeah. Well, I do too, but I mean, this isn't Hasbro information. This is information that people glean from the public logs of what's coming in and manifests. And there's somebody that looks at that and puts it all together. And Chris, puts it all together so people like us can take his picture and show it on streams.
Yeah.
So it's not actually Hasbro's saying shit. It's that.
No, and that's a great point because I think that's where we've arrived with a toy community on YouTube is, for the first little while, you don't know what information is pertinent enough to get the right deductions, but eventually somebody figures this stuff out, puts the right pieces of information together to give you something that makes you feel better about collecting the line in some level. Like that they bring that to the table. So I'm glad we have guys that do this stuff.
Oh, I am too. I'm really thankful, and I'm thankful to Chris for compiling it so we actually
Mhm.
get some information, because we don't get it from Hasbro. But we get it this way.
Right.
So I'm glad to see it. But so that way, in case you guys did not see this today, all of those things are hitting port. Now, Python is interesting if Python is getting here, because that means they're about to have to pack up a bunch of Pythonas and turn around and ship them somewhere else, because the only place
Mhm.
you're going to get her at first is those 3 cons. So
Yes.
we'll
Well,
see.
yeah. I mean, they might
This,
just have,
this,
like I said, the reserve supply in position and ready. It could be
yeah,
there for
yeah,
months. Yeah.
yeah. It gives me hope that maybe whenever it goes up on Pulse, it will be in stock, right? So usually it's like 6 weeks, 6 or 8 weeks that we see this information, that it shows up. So that's
Sure.
about right. That's
You know
about
what I
on par with the way it is.
you know what
What
I'm
it's
loving
been.
it though about this is how
What's
quickly
up?
that Steeler and short fuse seem to turn around. Like we just recently found out about
Oh,
Steeler and short fuse, and already we're getting assurances, and that is going to time so nicely for those of us who bought a ramen tank.
yeah. Which supposedly are on the way. That's
Yep.
what Ace said on the stream on Saturday, was they are going out now. So I don't know anybody that's gotten a shipping notice of any kind on them yet. I haven't, but he did
No,
say
me
that on
neither.
stream. So, but when it's coming from ramen, you might not hear anything until it's a couple of days from your doorstep. So
Yeah. I've never felt better about not ordering a Rattler. I'll say that much. There's a lot of big stuff coming.
yeah. There's a lot of people seem to finally be getting it though. I'm glad to see that a lot of people that have really been, you know, trying to find out where the hell it is are finally getting it in stock. Let's see what's
Yeah,
going on in the chat here. So see, missed
for sure.
anything going on? Yeah,
I'm
Jetman
just
says, watch for Shark's reviews, Shark Eyes reviews coming.
yeah, for sure. I'm doing my Smoking Joe's and Woody Triple Two tribute outside. That's why I'm off camera right now. So
All right, all right. Sabir says, wait, who's buying Terrorist? Hey, anybody that buys a Cobra figure, man.
damn right.
Cobra. Sean Jones is
Global
here. Got
terrorism.
one of, yeah. Sean says I got one of mine today. Rattler or Hunter tank. I'm guessing Rattler. Turk
Rattler,
says I'll
probably.
leave my Rattler comment out. So yeah, I'm guessing
Yeah.
Rattler. So let's see. All right, we go back to my other folder here, and we'll go over some couple of random things just to kind of talk about.
Yeah, for sure. I know you got to check on
So,
Pretzel here in a bit. So
yeah, here in I'll give it a couple minutes. So we got the Star Wars HasLab that ended Monday. Actually made it. Actually funded.
did it make all the
Uh,
tiers?
no, no. It didn't
No.
make any tiers, but today they announced after they tallied the international orders that they did unlock the Coleman Trebor tier. So which I think
So
was just
one
the first tier, one of the figures.
of the Jedis. So you get
One
two
of the
clone troopers and a Jedi and a massive carrier that you've seen before. Oh, I'm glad if Star Wars fans are happy. I'm glad they got this.
yeah, I mean, I am too. I didn't want it to fail or anything. I just not anything I would have ever remotely been interested in myself. But so it
No.
ended with, after they added the numbers, 10,541 backers. So
Well,
Coleman Trebor
we know.
was he was the first tier unlock at 10,000, and then the next
Mhm.
one was at 12, and the next one was at 14. So that was the same as the Snowcat, right? On the 3 tiers on the
So
Snowcat.
Here's the difference between this and the Snowcat, right? Because we talk about how a low funded HasLab tends to be a little bit worth more, probably because of the lesser numbers, right? So this Star Wars one on paper has lesser numbers to it. I just don't think it's in the same class as far as exclusivity as the HasLab Snowcat, just because they've already done these Star Wars ships before with a difference of inches, like in the size and scale
Yeah,
before. There's never been a Snowcat before.
right. 20% larger than ones that have been made before. So
Yeah,
to
it's
me,
not a new impression.
yeah, I mean it's bigger. Maybe it's got a little more detail, but to me, this was a pretty weak offering. Um, Personally, that's the way I feel about it. But I'm not a Star Wars
Hmm.
collector. But there's so
If
much more other iconic, cooler things they could have done, even if it was something that they had done in some way before. Like, I think a lot of stuff would have taken more precedence over this troop
I
transport
think
ship.
I think the problem with this one as a HasLab, honestly, like Star Wars, anything prequel, is the generation that's buying it, like, are probably the kids that grew up with those movies as their Star Wars, right? Like Phantom Menace, and they were 5 or 6 when they saw it, right? Well, they're only in their mid 20s, early 30s right now, right? So maybe their budgets aren't the same as somebody who, is in their 40s or 50s collecting a GI Joe HasLabs. They're much older. They've worked longer. Like, I just
Yeah.
think they kind of missed their generation by maybe 5 more years. They would have done better with this.
Yeah, I think so too. And it just even the prequels, they got some hate for the first few years, but they're growing on
Sure.
us older collectors now. We've come to accept them more. But
Yeah.
you can't go wrong with original trilogy stuff, really. I mean, the Rancor didn't make it, but the Rancor they fucked the tears up on, and it probably really didn't need to be a HasLab anyway. But as far as vehicles,
Oh,
like you can't really go wrong with the original trilogy. I mean, the Cantina hit everything, and it come with 30
yeah.
glasses.
Yeah, I mean, not that it was original trilogy, but just, when they support a universe well, they do well. The Ghost was a prime example where they
Yeah,
gave that the amount of visual support through animated series, telling cameos in movies, things like that, that did really well. They do that equally well with a Millennium Falcon or a Slave One, because that's what it's called. Um, you know,
yeah, yes.
but yeah, doing these prequel movies, it's pretty niche.
Yeah, it's a dicey prospect doing stuff from the prequels, I think.
Yeah.
You know, like that I still think they should have done an updated large Death Star, like kind of like that new
Well,
Lego one.
I think if we're watching just Hasbro in general across the lines that they're doing, 5 and 6 inch, I think that is where their focus is really going to start going now, because they realize what the collectors are dealing with for space and arrangements and things like that. I think it's getting addressed. This is
Yeah.
why we're getting modular train pieces for Joe. There's going to be more to follow with that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think we'll definitely start seeing a lot more of that stuff. But I just wanted
Well,
to highlight the
I think,
this and did anybody here order this? Anybody here work packet?
yeah. That'd be interesting to know. But just on that HasLab thing, I think because I saw a video about it and I didn't watch the video, but I paid attention to the title, and I think it's worth noting, right? Like, at some point, either the GI Joe fans or the Cobra fans are going to get pissed, because it's quite possible HasLabs might shift from doing vehicles to play sets. Like they could be considering that before the reasons we outlined, right? Do they do it on Joe's turn for a vehicle or Cobra's?
Yeah. It's good. It's good point.
Mm.
Um I don't let's see. Don't look like anybody backed it. Mark
Well,
says, "I'm glad the gunship succeeded, but can we be honest? The three Jedi they selected were a hair's breadth from being listed as random Mook 1, 2, and 3."
oh
You're not
God,
wrong, but I guess
absolutely.
it's just because they've never done them before, right? Like it's nobody. They're not going to
So
sell in stores. I mean, we can't get people to buy, you know, Leia and Han and the Emperor, so them guys ain't gonna sell.
So here's the thing, right? Like I understood them putting some named characters and they pulled them out of obscurity for the same reason we do, Night Force and a HasLab, so we don't lock a good figure behind a paywall, right? Like I could get that. But what I don't understand is what, like, just like the same premise for rock and roll concert. Why aren't you playing the fucking hits? You've got this
Yeah,
gunship, you've got two generic troopers. Why not do a Mace Windu with a different facial feature and maybe different effects that's not available on his regular figure? Like, give them the Jedi's they know and some major aggressive changes to those figures. Why did you put Johnny Anonymous three
yeah,
times into the tier
yeah.
unlocks? Do you want a piece of
I,
tofu? Here's some tofu. Like,
I mean,
that's all
I
it
give them
was.
credit. I give them credit for doing some deep cut figures, but I don't think those are guys anybody was clamoring for.
No, those
I
you
don't
tuck
think
into a
anybody would have been upset if we didn't get
no.
if they never got a Coleman Trebor figure.
I'll say this right now. Those three, whatever their name were, Jedi's, they should have ended up like the HISS 788 fire team. A compatible set that goes to bolster the sales of a HasLab, right?
That's
Something that
not a
mirrors that packaging, it goes.
yeah.
Didn't need to be the tiers.
Battle of Geonosis, Jedi fight pack, or Jedi
Mm.
fight backpack or whatever, something. Yeah, so yeah,
So
it was Coleman
another way,
Trevor.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say it was
No,
Coleman Trevor, Sais 10, and Agan Kolar. So I remember
okay.
seeing, yeah, so Woody, yeah, our three of them died in two strokes of a lightsaber. I remember
There you
seeing these
go.
dudes all get that was all they did was uh get chopped down. And I think Size 10 was the one that had one
Yeah.
line in the movie, and it was, yeah.
So in overview, not only did they include three meaningless Jedis, but they include them from the worst moments of the Jedi's entire reflection in the series. Is like, this is how easily we get chopped down, right? Here's
Right.
another angle. Why didn't they do it this way? They built themselves something that is technically a troop builder, right? Clone troopers, you could have thousands of them, and these ships, you could have multiples. They even gave you little optional panels so you could make different ones.
Yeah.
Instead of locking these Jedis behind a paywall and not doing other things with them, why not, instead of getting one figure per tier, why not include three clone troopers per tier unlock? So you could possibly get a section of 10 clone troopers to fill this thing up with. Like,
Yeah.
just take that troop build approach, because that's how everybody remembers these things, is carting in all these clone troopers to save the day, not the Jedis.
Yeah. That's exactly right. Do tiers with and make them slightly different. Yeah, make them different colors, make their stripes yellow or make their stripes green, or put different weapons with each three, or
Yeah.
because the promo pictures for this thing I've joked about the whole time, showing like the cargo area, and it's got all the clone troopers in it, but they're like the opacities have been lowered, so they look like ghosts. And it's like, you can put this many in there, but we're not going to give you any. We're going to give you
No.
two, but you
And that's
can
just
if you
it.
got a bunch
Like,
already.
I'm thinking, if I'm a Star Wars fan, why am I buying this vehicle? And then I've outlined those reasons. And when I look at, well, okay, wouldn't that make it more expensive if I gave you up to 9 figures to fill this thing up with, in 3 tier unlocks? Is that really worth the amount that people would invest? And I'd be like, yes, because nobody said you had to give them new clone troopers. You could go back and get your reprints of ones you've done previously on the line and include them. Just repackage them,
Yeah.
right? Like, it could be cost effective.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that would and people want troop builders, people that like the prequels. I mean, that are into the clone troopers. They want all the types of clone troopers. I think that would have been much better than the cut rate Jedi. And yes, Mark
100%.
Trevor got shot by Jango Fett. The other two were diced by Sidious. Yeah, he blasted Coleman Trevor. He shot him off of the damn. He was the one he shot off the balcony, wasn't it?
There you go. So I'm glad there's a Mark Harkness out there that remembers these fallen Jedi's identities, because two of them didn't make it. One made it to the HasLab, two didn't.
Yeah. So, well, at least he got a little screen time. You can set him up with your Django. All right. So we talked about that one. Now, what about this right here? You and I did a whole show about Maximum. What do we think we're going to see coming in Maximum? So here's our answer for the next one, Maximum Deadpool. What do you think about this? Have you ordered this guy?
So yes, but let's start with your thoughts on it, because I've been dominating the rants lately. So you start and then I'll rant.
I'm not at all surprised that they're doing Maximum Deadpool. I think Deadpool is a pretty good choice for a Maximum figure, and I like it. I haven't ordered it. I may order it. I got one Deadpool figure. Like we've talked about it a bunch of times. Not really a huge Deadpool fan, but I've come around. I do like Deadpool now. I hated the character when it was introduced, whatever. We talked about that. I do like Deadpool now. I'm not no diehard fan, but for some of the shit Deadpool does, I think he fits into the Maximum category. If I can do the things with this Deadpool figure that I can do with the Maximum Spider-Man, I would be happy with it. The only thing I don't really like about this figure that I see is he should have had a full unmasked head. Other than that, cool. I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
Yep. No, that would have been cool. I agree. They're and I agree with a lot of your sentiments of describing it. Like if it is as posable as Spider-Man, perfect, because Deadpool, he's a close quarters fighter and he's a jokester, right? So you want to have some options for either telling a joke or showing some action. That's important. There's things I don't like about this. I ordered one, yeah. Why not? I like Deadpool, but like you, I'm kind of sick of Deadpool. Deadpool is one of the Marvel characters that's guilty of being oversaturated every generation, right? Happened in the 90s. It happened since Ryan Reynolds got a hold of him. And we're seeing it in toys. We just had Deadpool movie toys out, and I think it was a mistake for them to make the third Maximum figure. I think this was the third Deadpool. Maybe the fifth, sixth, I would have gotten it. But I think there was other characters that probably really deserved a good Marvel representation before him right now. But I do like Duke being in there. But in the earlier slide, and maybe even a bit in this one, with the weapons loadout they give him, it just feels like here's your slap happy excuse of a Maximum kit loadout. We're going to give you a bunch of guns. This is our answer to Maximum characters. We'll throw in a bunch of guns, which is kind of accurate for Deadpool. Sure, it would be for Punisher. But this just feels like Rob Liefeld's moment in this picture. This looks like Liefield's fucking Deadpool. Right. And that instantly makes me like it less for some reason. Right. But I do think, oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think the weapons look good. I mean, what else are you going to give Deadpool? Like as far as accessories, really.
And what else haven't you already given him? The guy's had so many sets with so many different nods and inclusions, from chimichangas to scooters to pets, everything. Like he's had everything. Now he's got Dupe, a very niche X-Force character that even I don't know much about, and I'm gonna harass JLS to see if he's done a Dupe special. But you're right. Like, why not have the unmasked head, things like that at this point when you're doing a Maximum figure?
I think I like this one. I like the mask coming off, whatever. I do like that head sculpt. I think it looks good. I
I,
just, if
sure.
you're gonna do him, like he should have. I mean, how many times do you see him in costume just without the mask? I think they should have
Mhm.
done an unmasked head.
So, and it gets me curious about when we look at the what he's coming with. So he's got an AK-74 or an AK-47, one of the two, and he's got an M60 machine gun, like what rock and roll has, right? And we see a lot of parallels to Joe weaponry here, and we know that something in their licensing prevents them from sharing parts with their two 6-inch lines, right? Something was
Yeah,
covered about that a while ago. I think Punk has spoken to that a few times, but that
yeah,
to me looks like they possibly, yeah, we can't use the same molds and everything, but we do use the same print files and tweak them. We do something to the print file, but they're there because it's too coincidental. I don't see a company not doing that with the reuse. Like that M60 to me that's rock and rolls. That AK
yeah,
is
yeah,
Cobra Trooper.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, looks just
When I
just like it.
Yeah, and I see a lot of guys commenting on what they thought a maximum figure should look like. I see Maximum Beast on there, and I know they just showed
Beast.
Astonishing Beast in the latest reveal. But I've been advocating they needed to do guys like a Maximum Thor, who Thor, really outside of the Avengers movies, doesn't get a lot of love in the last couple of years with a good representation of them. And to me, guns are kind of a cop out for a toy. You know what I mean? A superhero toy guns are kind of like that low hanging fruit. We can throw them on every bad guy and anti-hero out there. But when it comes to a superhero, I want power effects. I want, magic hammers. I want dramatic posing stuff and facial features and hands, like you said. I'm not necessarily buying into guns to make this maximum. You know what I mean?
Maximum hands.
Yeah.
um, I do
Like,
like the chimichanga. I do like the stick of dynamite. I don't care about dupe. I don't even know what the fuck dupe is. I had
dupe,
no
yeah.
idea. Um,
You know,
but
like I said, JLS, if you're watching, get on Dupe and give us a link to Dupe. But if you haven't,
yeah,
do you have enough info on him? Because most of us, I know of him, but I don't know really what he brought to the table. He was
be
just
like
really
a
weird.
5 minute, be like a 5 minute JLS video.
He looks like a Slimer on Riddlin, right? Like just
Yeah,
totally fucking calm down.
looks like looks like Slimer's special needs nephew or something.
Yeah, Down syndrome
So
Slimer.
uh,
Sorry if anybody got offended by that, but
Ronnie says I'm a maximum beast. So yeah, so
well,
Mark says
yeah.
is Dupe Slimer's ill-tempered cousins. I don't know what any idea what Dupe is.
I would love
So
to
I
see them tackle some X-Men with these Maximums because of those power sets. Like Maximum Beast is an odd one because he's, what do you do? Give him more hands, more fur? But like
yeah,
Maximum Iceman, you could do ice slides, ice walls, ice blasts, like so many
yeah.
different things with Iceman, right?
Iceman's pretty sweet. And they just showed us
Hmm.
Secret Wars Iceman, and I am interested in that
Oh,
because I loved Iceman and that figure. They never made it in the US back in the
me too.
day.
And
Uh,
and
I
and and
loved
just
that
speaking
Iceman.
as Yeah, and he is really kind of a very pertinent character now more than ever since they retconned him to represent the LGBTQ community as well, right? Like this is kind of
Yeah,
their one of their polarizing characters that might mean something to them. So I'm glad they did a really good job with it, but they've made it an exclusive.
yeah. Was it Amazon? Was it Amazon?
I think it's Amazon. I'm not sure if it's Pulse or Amazon, but yeah, it's not a regular retail, which is a damn shame because Secret Wars, I know you guys could get them at Target, I could get them at Toys R Us, but they weren't exclusive. Like you saw them around.
Mm-mm. Yeah, they weren't. They were. I saw Titania and Beyonder. I think those are the
Mhm.
only. I think those are the only. I saw Cap once.
I
Um,
saw, yeah, Iron Man was there, Wolverine, I saw, like I've seen all of them. I just haven't bought them.
yeah, I want the
Beyonder.
Cap. The Cap. the Cap was really the one that I really wanted, and the one time I saw him at GameStop, I didn't have the extra money to spend on something that wasn't a
For sure.
classified that day, so I didn't buy him. So let's run
Yeah.
through some of these other ones that we saw. So there's the Beast you were talking about. These guys went up for
Yeah. So
pre-order today.
yeah, and they mentioned it in the stream how they're slowly working on the Astonishing X-Men line, right? And if people are curious about that, that's the one that was written by Joss Whedon, who did Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the movies, The Avengers, right? Joss Whedon wrote the Astonishing X-Men line, and that's where they were. It was a really cool, I'd say first 5 or 6 issues. They brought Colossus back from the dead and things like that in that one. And that's what the beast looked like at the time. So kind of a cool figure.
I only went through and got just these shots. So I mean, it looks cool. I mean, it's not anything I need, but I'm
No,
glad they're making it for people that want it. Then we get Phoenix, and this is
love
a
that
cool
one.
look.
Yeah. So are you
So,
familiar with which Phoenix this is?
dude, I don't know who. I don't know who any. I know Beast and Daredevil.
Okay, so this is
in this line,
this is this is when they realized they could really expand the X-Men universe and start coming up with more subtitles, like Excalibur, which was the
right?
UK X-Men, basically. And this Phoenix is Rachel Summers. She's from an alternate timeline. She is the daughter of, I think, Jean Grey and Scott Summers or something like that from an alternate timeline. And that was the timeline, the Days of Future Past, that they based one of the movies on. And so the
Yeah.
reason she's wearing that red costume with the spikes down the strip is that in that timeline, she was a mutant tracker. She was brainwashed to work with the Sentinels to hunt down and kill mutants. And she was called a hound. So when they did
Mhm.
up Excalibur, she re-empowered herself by claiming that costume again. So I love this one. I'm getting this one for sure. I might buy 2 of this one.
This is a good looking figure. I
Yeah,
ain't no lie about it. I like this figure. I like the flame wings. Looks good.
yeah,
And then this
absolutely.
one. So this is the one out of this wave that I'm probably going to wind up getting is the Silver Surfer.
Yes, I think a
I
lot of
don't.
people are with you on that.
If it's not sold out, it's in my cart at Walmart, which I actually meant to check because Walmart had these guys for $24.99, which is the prices are going up. So
Mhm.
pre-order at
Yeah,
Walmart that they had it for the old price, $24.97.
yeah, that's not going to
And
last long because
yeah, they're going to change it, and it still is. It's still in my cart. It's not sold out. So um, 24.97 at Walmart right now. So get it while you can before the price goes up. I think this is a damn good looking figure.
so yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I passed on the movie Silver Surfer female, the one that from a different
Hmm.
dimension. And
Yeah,
this, now that they've got this out so close to that purchase window where they're both possibly on the shelf at the same time, I would definitely buy both of them. I think they'd look fantastic together. I'd buy
oh
this
yeah,
individually as well because Silver Surfer's he's the bro, right? And yet
yeah,
another one of those comic novelties, which makes them, let's not pretend to have dignity. They're fun to collect. That's all they are. Some
yeah,
people hate this aspect of the figure. I don't mind it. I've had
yeah.
most of these comics in my life too, so it's kind of cool to see them shrunk down.
And see, I was never like a huge Silver Surfer fan. My brother was. My brother, so Silver
Mhm.
Surfer and Moon Knight were like my brother's jam. They were some of his. He read all of those, all of that stuff I
Sure.
didn't read. He read. So I
Mhm.
think this is a really good looking figure. I almost bought the boxed one, the previous one. At that toy show that I went to and told you about. It's the one where I got the blade that I got. Um,
Yeah.
and I almost bought the older one that's like in the little box, but I'm glad I didn't because this one's pinless. So
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, a couple weekends ago, I went up to Petawawa to visit an old buddy of mine that I served with, and he's a big comic fan. And he came down this weekend, and we just didn't meet up, but we both went to the Comic Expo here in Ottawa, and he brought home this big ass, beautiful Silver Surfer statue. And then, like that
nice.
night, I saw the pictures released on this, and I was like, "Oh, I wonder
Yeah,
if he knows."
yeah,
Yeah.
uh, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I've seen some
Mhm.
good looking Silver Surfer statues. They made
Ah,
some good ones with the shiny. Um,
yeah.
so then we get
You guys with the chrome
This
marker.
Black Widow. Yeah, Chrome
Oh,
Pen.
the Rob. No, this is the Jim Lee. This is the Jim Lee tribute that I need for myself. I had this comic that this one's from. It's the most iconic X-Men Jim Lee cover that they did, her, Cap, and Wolverine. Oh, and I don't have a Black Widow figure right now, so this will be the one I want. This is the classic 80s look.
Yeah, see, I got no nostalgia or anything from it. I had no idea what this one was actually from. So the figure
Mhm.
looks good. I mean, the I like the accessories. I like everything that she's got. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just not something I'm gonna buy, but you want it, so I'm glad they're making it.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it's like I said, it's that nod to her being part of the Red Room, her old 80s, the way the Black
yeah,
Widow was in the 80s isn't the way Marvel portrays her in the movie, right? To some degree it
right.
is, but to a lot, there was a lot more. And it shows better in that figure. But this one, what do you think of this one?
I'm glad they're finally making a good articulated Dread Pirate Roberts figure. When I saw this,
Uh, uh,
that's the first thing I thought was like, wait a minute. It looks
oh,
good. I'm not I'm not getting it. I
oh,
don't need it, but it looks okay.
oh, I am going to get at least probably 3 of this one for the same reason I got the, Savage Land
Tracksuit.
Xavier buck, because
Yeah.
underneath that head pin, I'm going to find out what other heads fit with this, because you have your street youth that the police are apprehending when they show up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Right.
but there he is. Black
Yeah.
hoodie, handcuff time. He
Yeah.
stole that
Wearing
comic book.
gloves.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Wear-
That's the intent with
Um,
Matt Murdock here. But again, a cool niche Daredevil as well, right?
yeah, I mean, I think it looks fine. It's just this ain't a Daredevil that I really need. Like I've got the I've got the series one. What's it called?
Yes.
The one we just watched. I've got that one ordered. I
Born
don't
again?
have Born Again. Thank you. I don't have a
Yes.
Daredevil figure. Never been a huge Daredevil fan. Didn't dislike him. I just didn't read his comic unless he was in a crossover. Um,
For sure.
so I like the classic look. Daredevil was my pick for what we should have gotten in the next Maximum line. So
I could
I
see
would have
that.
I'd have been more interested in a Maximum Daredevil than a Deadpool, but I do. I
For
mean,
sure.
I'd buy either. I'm gonna get that Deadpool. I just hadn't ordered it yet.
So what I really
Mark
like about
says
this. Oh, what?
Trial of Incredible Hulk Daredevil.
Oh God, no. Yeah, the old yellow and red. No, what I really like about this one, guys, is if for some reason there's somebody out there that just has been holding off on ever watching the first 2 seasons of Daredevil, when it was a Netflix property. This is what he wore when he did some of the best choreographed fight scenes I had ever seen in a superhero TV show or movie. That one take appeal. He was wearing this black jumpsuit and mask, and that was relatable whether you liked comics or you just liked TV. That was awesome. So I love this figure, man. I can't wait to get my hands on a few of these.
I think it looks good. If I see it on clearance, I might get it for that same reason. Like
I will
it's
vend you money.
uh not anything that I would buy at full price, but if I found this at the
No,
same price as that Savage Land Xavier went down to, might pick
yeah.
up one or two. Um,
This is the headhunters for me, to like putting a street feel to my Cobra, right?
Yeah, like this could be Cobra recruitment guys, like at a
Mhm.
meeting,
Just
recruitment
urban
meeting or something
disruption.
for Cobra. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
just urban disruption.
yep, ditch the uniform and go out in street clothes and cause mayhem. So
There you
there's
go.
that. There's Daredevil. Then who the fuck
Or
is Feral?
okay, one more thing before I get into Feral, just for Gun Bunny and Tony and other guys, right? Other customizer. The other thing about that Daredevil, not just making them a gang, but what if you ever wanted to make your Joes look like they're doing PT for the morning? That's PT strip. That's guys going
Yeah,
on a run, right?
yeah,
Just saying,
yep.
Night Force jogging suit, right? Yeah, Feral. You want to know about Feral? I can tell you about Feral. She's another Rob Liefeld winner. Okay, it's
All right,
uber violent, feral, like a mutant that was born with, cat-like properties. Just another clawed mutant out there tearing shit up to be very violent. Because X-Force was supposed to be over the top violent because Xavier wouldn't approve of that for the X-Men. That was the
right,
point of X-Force, really. Cable takes these
okay.
guys and basically corrupts them a bit, right? Makes them the anti-hero. But she had another one, a sister named Talon that shows up in the series. I think Talon was her name. These are toss away D-list heroes. I
So
was
they gotta
shocked to
be.
see her get her own. Yeah, like absolutely shocked they did this one. It's so, I like using the word niche. Feral is niche. You got to be a
Yeah.
Rob Liefeld fan for this one.
So is this the first Feral figure? Does anybody know if they made one before?
It's a good question. They might have.
I
Like,
wouldn't have any idea, but I just curious if it's such a deep cut.
it's
Um,
just, oh yeah. The 90s big hair too, right? Everybody had to
yeah,
have hair similar to Wolverine. if you were
this
if you
looks
were
like
animalistic, you had Wolverine hair.
this looks like cracked out Wily Kit from Thundercats.
Yeah. And,
That's what I
and
see
yeah,
there.
no connection to Sabretooth whatsoever. She wasn't like his daughter or anything, but just,
Yeah.
if you wanted Sabretooth with boobs, there you go.
And then
Basically.
here's the group shot of them all reading their comic. It's pretty good shot. So I like
Yeah.
that they demonstrate Beast's little bit of Beast's posability there with this really funky looking skinny ass knee pad joint here. So
Yeah. Stands out.
Mark's Farrell Fawcett and Saber Boob.
Saber boob.
I could go for some
Farrell
Saber
Fawcett. I do
boobs.
like Farrell Fawcett.
Farrell
You
Fawcett's
want to know how
great.
I know you're an older guy? Because you said Farrell Fawcett.
Hmm. There is a
Hmm.
there's a news anchor that we have that's on the local news station that I watch, and that's how she does her hair. Like her
Yeah.
hair and her makeup is like you look at it and it is straight up like 70s Farrah Fawcett. And I'm like, that's a pretty
Yeah.
good look because nobody styles like that. So,
No,
kind of
man. From 85 to like 97, if you invested in Finesse Hair Company and their hairspray products, you were rich, right?
white
Everybody
rain,
had
buddy.
weird hair.
Um, so do do we think that Saber Boob Farrell Fawcett do we think she could join the ranks of the Bush Vipers? I'm
She
thinking
joined the
yes.
what?
The Bush
Sorry,
Vipers.
I just lost my
Uh-oh.
AirPods. Can you hear me?
Can hear you. Yes, you're cutting out a little bit, but can hear you.
Okay, yeah, my earbuds just coughed out, so I gotta charge them quickly, put them back
Okay.
in.
No,
And turn them.
I can actually hear you pretty good, so that's not bad.
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I
So
missed kind of what you in there.
the Bush Vipers, the league of female Cobra early 80s Cobra troopers. So that come up because I was actually still have it handy because Pot Blender got me that for my birthday. So that was where
Oh,
Bush Vipers come from.
I
It's
can't see
the
you, so
oh, you can't see me?
no, the light's putting a reflection on the laminate, so give yourself full screen. Oh, nice.
It's That's the August 1977 issue of Playboy. So he went and hunted down the issue of Playboy from my when I was born, and so I showed it, and we wound up. I think it might have been actually Jay Astro that said Bush Vipers. So that's where that comes from. Made a flock Bush Viper custom.
Yeah. For those of you who accidentally joined in while Darren was showing a Playboy magazine, this ties into toys in that we're talking about Farrell and her dated era hair. Okay. And Farrah Fawcett came up. There you go.
That's right.
6 taken.
Dated hair is how that relates to Playboy. All right. Can't show any more of the magazine than that, but all right. Nope. So next, this is the one I was probably most excited about. Was they showed this 2-pack. What do you think about this one? This Nick Fury and Punisher 2-pack.
Again, excited for a couple of reasons. It's one, what a abstract fringe game to pull a figure line out of. Like that's saying Gamer versus more than just what the Capcom,
what
versus
what game is this from? Because they never said.
It was I think it was like a Sega Genesis side-scrolling Punisher game that came out probably like 92, 93, maybe after that. I can't remember. Somebody in the chat can clear us up here. But it was this way out of right field. Here's your Punisher.
They never said in the stream what game it was from. All they did was allude to, we're not only doing Capcom, versus Marvel, and they never said what game it was from, but I recognize it.
Yeah, that could have been a legality where they can make it, but you'll notice that it's not written on the box anywhere. It's just all under Gamerverse title. That's the big part of this, right? You didn't like with the Capcom stuff. That's all under Gamerverse title.
Yeah.
Same as Spider-Man stuff. I don't think you see PlayStation 4 written on that.
Viper Scout says it was an arcade game, mostly at Pizza Hut.
Oh, there.
Like the Spider-Man 4-player arcade game, mostly. Because I know I've played it, but they did mention that it was a Genesis, that it actually had a port on Genesis. So it seems like I vaguely remember a Punisher game, but I don't remember what platform I played it on. It may have been this because it looks familiar, but the Nick Fury is meh to me. I mean, it's okay, but I love the Punisher in the blue with the old logo.
Oh, absolutely. I'm kind of, again, I'm not surprised that you don't like the Nick Fury just because it's not a traditional Nick Fury in the Shield outfit. I can kind of get that. He's very oddly colored. I love that Nick Fury just because, like I said, it's something different for that, but also I'm a guy that likes to kit bash figures. To me, that's not a green shirt. That's a sergeant, right? Like that leads green shirts. I just do a head swap.
Well, I see
different kit.
Tiger Force Nick Fury.
Oh, for sure. Like it's just what this figure brings to the table is very interesting on a few levels. For a Marvel fan, maybe they wanted a different Nick Fury because they like having the Sam Jackson Nick Fury, but they wanted this one. And the last time you could get a good Nick Fury was a 3-pack of Shield, and that was like $100 in Canada. I don't know. I think it was like $7 there, right? So here's another chance.
So I don't hate it, and I actually would like to see a more classic Nick Fury in something other than Shield colors. So I don't hate it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. But the Punisher, man, that I dig that Punisher. I dig the 2 heads that they give him. And hopefully this neck peg is swappable with the Warzone one.
Yeah, maybe.
So have 4 different head sculpts that you can use between these 2 figures. Even with the white headband will work with this outfit. But he's got the white gloves and the white boots and the white thigh holster. I love everything about this except the reuse in the weapons. Oh my God. Give us some new shit. The briefcase, but this is all like all this shit is all weapon reuse with this pack.
So I kind of agree and I kind of disagree. I am also curious because we're still waiting on our Daredevil Born Again Punisher with the John Barenthal variant. I'd love to see
Yeah,
if
that's right.
is like put this head on that body, you know, and
Yeah.
things like that. But with the kit reuse, yes. One, I think I look at Marvel Legends and I just don't even acknowledge guns anymore. I'm like, whatever, you've got guns. Joe is where I pay
Yeah.
attention to that. Marvel, not so much. So maybe you're right about that with the reuse. I wouldn't know. But money stacks and the grenade explosion, I like those because I don't have a good grenade explosion. I've got the shitty ones that come with scrap iron, right? Those kind of blast effects. And yeah, like the money stack that it's spilling out of the case. I think the last
Yeah.
money stack I got was Destro, and it's all neatly stacked. So I like that.
This is the explosion that came with the Warzone 2-pack.
Oh, is it?
So yeah, it's the same one.
Oh, okay.
Now I will say, like the grenade is cool. Like the weapons are actually pretty good sculpts. They're not bad looking weapons, but they were gummy. But the Tech 9 that comes with that Warzone set for Punisher, that Tech 9 is fantastic, and so's the Uzi. And we were
Mhm.
talking about, you know, reusing the weapons between Joe's and Marvel, and they can't do it, but somebody mentioned that they look like they're the same files, like we were looking at that M60. They look really, really close to
Yeah.
the Joe weapons.
And
So, but that Tech 9 is great.
And so also, you know, I would have bought this Punisher if he'd come by himself. And I would have looked at him as a very retro Punisher in that the way that comic book cell shading was back in the 80s when the pages were just newsprint. A blue,
Yeah.
the shades of blue is kind of how they reflected a black uniform.
Dark
Right.
black. Yep.
McFarlane do this with a lot of the Batman stuff a lot of the time, how the blue is actually black and vice versa, things like that, depending on the character and the era. So I like this.
I do too, and I don't hate the cell shaded kind of look like a lot of people do. On the right figure, I think it looks good,
Agreed.
and I don't mind it at all on this. So I skipped ahead and I showed this off. So I'm sure there's somebody that wants this from Born Again that collects this stuff. And I don't think it looks bad per se, but I threw it in here because just can anybody like wear this and not look ridiculous? Even
Um,
if you've got a cosplay kind of outfit like this dude, you know, this is the one we just looked at, the tracksuit mafia one we were just talking about. So this is that, but wearing the actual cowl with the baton.
so I would love to get this. You know, it's not as I've never wanted a helmet or a mask from this line or any other. Like no Star Wars helmet, no none of that. I don't want that stuff. I want this because I think it would be fun to go out kayaking or driving my car wearing this and just staring straight ahead as I do corners and weird things in my car just for that. But I don't want to buy it. I want to win it.
Oh yeah, win it. Now I will say I do want the Cobra Commander one. Punk's got that one, and I do like the Doctor Doom one. I really like that Doctor Doom
Sure.
one. So what you just said. So I got this friend that I grew up with, went to school with him my whole life, and he's a big guy. He's a bigger dude, and he always, you know, he always embraced it. He'd always been a big dude, but and you know, but he funny dude. Dude he's got one of the best personalities. He's hilarious. But we were in high school, and he had gotten a Riddler mask from Batman Forever,
Yeah.
and he kept it in his car, and he would put it on when he drove. And like I said, he was a big dude. He's got a big head. He's got a big face. His face was chubby, and it was the rubber mask, the rubber Halloween mask. And he would take and he'd pull that thing on and squeeze it on, and he filled it out. There was no hollow, nothing. It looked like a face, but it was the damn horrible rubber Jim Carrey Riddler face with the hair, and it fit him, and he filled it out. He could see out of it perfectly, and he would put it around when he went driving around and just pull up, and pull up and just look over at people in traffic and just stare at them.
Exactly.
It was the funniest shit ever, and that made me think of it.
See, my whole thing is
Oh.
if I hear this, I couldn't look left or right at anyone. I'd have to keep looking straight no matter what was around me. Why am I full screen?
Because I see you went and grabbed your Deadpool mask.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought you were
Well,
gonna
that
put
was
it
just
on.
when I bought this, I wasn't doing YouTube anything. I wasn't even collecting toys. I bought this so I could go out as Dadpool when my little guy was doing trick or treating. Right. So I had this, I had my cardigan on, a smoking pipe, and a newspaper, and just walked around as Dadpool. But like this is
That's
hot.
awesome.
I can't wear this
Yeah.
for more than 3 minutes without overheating. So you can take me off now because I'm probably still
You need to bring that back in a couple videos. You wore that in some of your early videos. You wore that.
Oh, the element of surprise is my only weapon. But what I was saying about the Daredevil one is at least that one, you can breathe. Like you're playing your
Oh, yeah.
joke, keep it going without suffocating.
Yeah, for sure. That's the good thing that's the problem with a lot of those masks, right? And I've been hesitant to like and I kind of like the Green Goblin one that they did from the original, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. I kind of like that Goblin mask, but that's part of why I've never spent money on anything like that, is because once in a while I'd want to put it on, and I got a big ass head, so I don't
Well,
know if I spend $125 on a prop mask that I can never wear, how good I'm gonna feel about that purchase.
I think that's just really like these things have their own types of collectors when we look at them. Like probably there's
Oh
there's people
yeah,
who will buy one because of the character, and there's people who will collect them. And like for me, being a figure collector, that's shelf space I plan on using for something in my primary collection. So it doesn't really cross my
right.
mind to buy one. But I can see myself like you buying one and then just throwing it on a hat rack in the hallway, like leaving
Yeah,
the house. Time to call on Cobra Commander. Like
yeah.
yeah.
That is one. That's one. If I see it somewhere, I'm gonna get, is that Cobra Commander one. I love that thing.
Yeah. I just noticed I'm coming in clearly. Sorry, not to interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually going to mention that, and I'm going to go hit another cup of coffee and check on Pretzel. If you want to talk, I'll give you full screen if you want it, and I'll be back in just a minute if you wanted to talk about anything on the phalanx or whatever.
Sure. Today I'll talk about the phalanx because the camera's looking at it right, and maybe I can move the camera a little closer, and you're not going to be gone that long. So
No,
let's just
you want full screen?
Sure, might as well. Let's see if that works.
Okay.
If it's shitty resolution, we'll just bash on until you get back. Okay.
All right, I'll be back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a look at my other monitor, which is just a tablet. All right, it's workable. So, guys, this is the Gridiron Phalanx with the turret. I did do my review on it. A weird thing happened today. I talked about why I was in a good mood. Somebody recognized me as Krusty Old Crow in my local GameStop. That was cool. My video started getting watches right away, which I really appreciated. But somebody sent me a super thanks today, and I remember when I did one of my last lives for the year. Daredevil Dave sent me a super chat, and I was very thankful. That was surprising. I didn't know I could get super thanks. So unfortunately, I don't remember the person's name off the top of my head. They had a very intricate name. They were a subscriber, and they said that the video made them happy. So I'm very happy that you were happy. Thank you very much, but never feel a need to monetize my videos. Just know that when you do, I'm very flattered. That's all I can say. This thing, yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's 3D printed. I understand 3D printing puts caution in your minds when you're talking about big, heavy toys because you're worried they're going to break, melt, whatever. Um, this thing is very solidly put together and constructed. It's about as durable, actually more durable, I find, than my Vamp. When I look, oh, now I see myself bouncing around. When I look at the Vamp, you know, I have things that pop off the Vamp all the time that I, sometimes will lose. Yeah, I'm starting to frag out on the video. But things like these headlights, this gun is constantly falling off. Yes, it's solid construction and frame, but the way it's laid out, it has its own problems. And I love my Vamp. When I look at the investment I made on the Vamp, I bought it on the aftermarket. Fool as me, missed the window, paid the price. Thank you, Loki Wartooth. I appreciate that he sold that to me. But this, I went in with the investment, and this is why I had to wait like 2 weeks of thinking whether I wanted to pay I believe it was $4.99 US for it, for just the body. That's a heavy consideration. In Canada, that's more like 600 and something, right? And then when I add the turret, which was an extra 150 US, now I'm up into the 800s in Canada, and I haven't dealt with shipping and duty and things like that yet. So I addressed it in my video. It was a conversation I had with Mark at Gridiron, as I finally figured out how to text them instead of sending them 1984 emails or calling them like it's the 70s. Once I got talking to him and I understood things a bit better, he felt bad when he showed me what I had to pay for the shipping and handling for the 2 separate boxes, because they had to be shipped separately, different weight classes and very big. He felt bad about the shipping and handling costs, which was about, guys, for me up here north, it was about $130 US, right? So Canada, we're talking 210, 215, somewhere in there. I was already prepared for that because I'd seen what was being paid with my HasLab to get it out here, things like that, certain figures from certain companies, and the aftermarket, and not the aftermarket, but the third party print market, and dealing with, bringing back that Air Eagle from Real Fans, just from Joe Fest, where Darren had sent it to me. I was prepared for that. But, Gridiron recognizes that a lot of collectors that are new to the line, they get the impression that Gridiron's great, and they really should have it because it is very good stuff. And it looks amazing. Look at the Hound and all the variations of it. But the expense, that sticker shock, gets really exploited with the shipping and handling rates right now and the international shipping. So yeah, guys who are following my channel, I said you could reach out to me. Hopefully some of you are here. Yeah, by the time I paid for this, I was about $1,000 in for this vehicle. But again, my connection
Good
to
Lord.
I was on this for a while. What's that? Are you back?
I'm back.
Yeah, okay. I didn't zoom in on this because I started having a little bit of issues, but I'll just do this little pan because we haven't done that. Right. So guys, I can't say enough about the play factor for this and the photos, like everything comes off this so you can get into it. Mark and Gridiron's page show a lot of they show everything you need to show, and the guys, there's like 100, not 100, there's probably 5 or 6 really good reviews on this thing that I've watched from guys who have had this for a while. So definitely don't just watch mine, watch theirs, because they get into some of the APC stuff a lot more than I did. There, now I'm ready for you to be back, Darren. Sorry.
All right. I just put a link to the review down there in the comments. So if you guys,
I'm gonna try and put my headphones on the charge for a bit, so bear with me.
Okay. If you guys want to open that up in another tab and make sure you check that out. And we said it earlier, but in case you're not subscribed to Crow, make sure you get over there and do that. Crow's at 948, so he's getting close to that big 1,000 mark. So yeah, it worked. So getting close to that big 1,000 mark. So hopefully you can hit that for long, man. So
I gotta take a break and use the bathroom, top up my coffee and whatnot. So I'm gonna do to you what you did to me and leave you all by yourself for a minute. But I'm listening.
All right.
You want to give yourself full screen?
Nah, nobody wants to look at this. I'll be here when you get back. So I'm impressed with the Falnix. Like I didn't order it. I mean, it's awesome. It's not my I say it's not my cup of tea. It's awesome. I don't have the money. If I had the money to buy everything, I'd order it. I saw it in person at Joe Fest. They had the black one, right? The same thing as just the all black one. They actually gave that thing away at Joe Fest. That was like one of the biggest crowds there was when they did the raffle to give away the Falnix. So we all were trying to get back from, I think we'd gone to lunch. Yeah, we'd gone to lunch and we were trying to get back in time so we didn't miss that raffle. And of course, none of our group won, but I mean the guy that did was actually standing right there. So I hope that guy drove there and didn't have to fly back to somewhere and try to fit that vehicle in luggage. But it's cool, and I know how much Crow's been looking forward to getting it. There's a connection to it. So I'm glad it showed up. And it's pretty much everything that he was hoping it would be. So check out his video. Like I said, think I'm about 2/3 of the way through it. So he's, does what Crow does a really good job at highlighting it and putting his own spin on it. So finally got my shelves rearranged back here. It was a 2-week process, and put in this other set right here so I can put stuff that's not Joe on that shelf. I finally got a shelf for my Jada guys, and spent some time actually putting some lighting up along the top back there. Is actually there's the main reason. What am I pointing at? Right there, the Rattler. Yeah, I'll just turn around and point at it. I know I'm pointing in the right spot. So that damn Rattler, man, thing takes up so much room. It is obnoxiously large. And I've been talking about wanting to try to fit another set of shelves in here. And the only way possible to do it actually worked out where I was able to take my 2 Joe shelves back here and do a corner, and gave me enough room to actually put the Rattler on it with the wings folded out. And I've got like about a 3-inch like wiggle room that I could move it around on, like 3 or 4 inches. And anything other than that, the wings hit the wall. But I'm gonna do some pictures. I was trying to get it done last weekend, but had an issue with my strip lights that I put on the top of the shelves up there. So had to order some new strip lights and get those put in. I had a set that I bought to put in this room when I put this room together, and I never used them because I put all of the posters from 3D Joe's up, and I really wanted to put them along the top. And I realized that it would never stick to enamel paint because that's what the paint is in this room. I knew that adhesive would never stay stuck, so I never used them. So I got all this moved around, and I thought, it's a good use for those strip lights. I can run them along the top of the shelves and backlight stuff in whatever color that I want. So I've got this other light on, so when I kill that light, you can actually see the rest of it. But so I put the strip light up, and I'm working around all this stuff at the top, trying to not knock figures over, not knock, the dragonflies up there, the stinger, all this big stuff's up there. And I'm trying to not knock this stuff over, and I get it all in, and I finally get it situated. And I'd already tested the lights, but that was when I realized that the remote control did not work for the lights. It wouldn't do shit. So I got them on, and they're just blinking. So I got this set of strip lights that I can't do anything with. And one of the other mini wireless LED controllers I've got would control it, but it wasn't what was on the function on the remote. So I'd press blue and it would be like yellow or whatever, and I couldn't adjust the brightness. It was just a clusterfuck. So now that Crow's back, I don't have to talk about these shelves anymore, but I am going to do I'll do some pictures.
I'm glad you did talk about the shelves, because I would have been remiss not to discuss that, because it's a change that is clear in your background. You've definitely put some work into it. And you told me the remote story, and I was like, that sucks.
It's a nightmare. I was so pissed off because all I did when I tested them was I plugged them up and they come on and they blinked, and that's what
Mhm.
LEDs do. And I'm like, all right, cool, they work. Didn't ever give a second thought to making sure the remote would actually control them. It hasn't been used either, but I've
Yeah,
had
no, I
those.
felt your pain.
I've had those lights and just in the box, just never taken them out for like going on 3 years, 2.5 years. I was so pissed off. But either way, I'll do some
Mm.
pictures. I did rearrange a lot of my Joes. You can't tell it in the picture or in the just the camera view here, but I actually rearranged all of the Joes and all of the Cobras for the most part. So um I got them in order of debut year and whatever. So anyway, enough talk
Nice.
about that. So let's we'll get into our topic, and I'm just calling it time talk. So I thought there's a lot of elements of time that goes into collecting, and I don't really have any slides or anything for this.
Pardon me.
I can pull
Pardon me.
stuff up if we need to. You're pardoned. You're pardoned. Um so we had a couple different ways to approach talking about time. And one thing is like the time that goes into this hobby, and not just what
Yes.
I was just talking about, just not just rearranging the shelves, because it literally took me to get it how I wanted and figure out how to group stuff. And I'm still not happy with it, but it took me a week to get stuff moved around and how I semi want it. And that is
Mhm.
all just a week of 2 weekends, part of 2 weekends, and after work, some coming in here and just sitting and staring at it. And I was thinking about what other stuff could I be doing with the time I'm spending just mentally trying to figure out how to rearrange this stuff. And that got me thinking about sinking all the other time into it. But the thing was, when I was just sitting here looking at it, just looking at my stuff and whatever, I realized that I was enjoying doing even that. As much of a pain in the ass that it is to move stuff
Yeah.
around, I was enjoying
There it
just
is.
sitting there looking at it, you know,
Yep.
and
That
going, well, what if I put these guys here or move this vehicle here? I'm like, no, that won't work because of this. But I would look at it for like 30 minutes at a time before I touched anything because I was enjoying taking it all in.
Yeah, man. Let us know in the chat, guys. Are you like that too? Because I'm like that too. That's the part of this hobby that we're at, right? Is it's the visual aesthetics of this is something that you contemplate. You like posing your figures. You like having a collection to look at on the scale like this. But if it's not relaxing you and all it's doing is stressing you out, you have a problem, right? At some point, there has to be some positive emotion, like you just talked about, 3 star. Like, otherwise, why are you doing this? So, yeah, I think I also, like others in the chat and like yourself, spend sometimes days trying to work out the perfect shelf arrangement, right? Like, it just happens.
Well, on with the shelf, so I knew I wanted to put another set in here and
Mm.
knew why I wanted to. I needed a set that I could put stuff on. Like I got my ramen stuff up here together, and I wanted the Street Fighter stuff to have a shelf. But I knew I needed to put it in here, but I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it. And I had much of a pain in the ass as it is. I was just like looking at it, going, you know, this would be okay over here. This would be okay over there. It actually gives you a minute to look at the different stuff, figure out what you want to put together and how you want to arrange it. And you
Mhm.
get to look at move some stuff you haven't touched for a little bit, whatever. But so I sunk like almost 2 weeks, here and there, a little at a time into doing this. And I got to thinking about the times that are fun and the times that aren't with this hobby. And some of the times that aren't is like waiting on stuff to show up. Obviously, we want our
Oh,
we want our stuff. We want our stuff.
The
That
drought
time's not
between
fun.
waves, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
How time seems to stand still after you bought the last figure of that wave and you know nothing else is coming for that or retro. Yeah, I get that. Um, so about that, how you spend that time, like we talked about that, and then you talk about like the space of waiting on figures. Going with that, have you considered how that time sometimes leads to you like journeying, like driving from one store to another to look for a figure that you think is out there but isn't, right? You're in your
Yeah.
car for up to an hour just to go retrieve a figure that isn't there. You know, you've spent money on gas to go buy these toys. You realize that, you know, like how we spend our time, even then. You're still finding ways to really put a lot into this line that you didn't know you were putting in there.
Yeah, and like you just said, like if you like to go out and toy hunt, you know, sometimes it bears fruit, sometimes it don't. You have quite a bit of luck when you go out, you know, you're to the stores you go to. Down here, a lot of times it's hit or miss. And where I live, there's a lot of Walmarts, there's a lot of Targets, but if you're going to go out and hit a bunch of them, like you just said, that's time. Like you got to plan a day around doing that. That eats up a
Mhm.
lot of time driving around doing toy hunts. And I know like Punk talks about it all the time, going to Walmart, walking into Walmart, driving to it and walking back there, knowing they're not going to have shit. But it's just,
Ye-
you like the hunt and just hoping against hope that maybe this one time that something
This
will
one
be
time.
there. Yes,
Yeah,
one
exactly.
time.
This time I've got my timing right because I showed up on the day everything changed and I've got my figures. Yeah, you hope for that. You know, also
Yep.
you got to look at this from a YouTube perspective too, because Darren, this is one that you know a lot about. What about the time to get a figure so that you can do something with it for your channel, right? You will
Yeah.
pay extra money to get something early in some cases, so you can get into that algorithm for other reasons, right? That the
Yep.
time becomes very relevant when you're doing a channel. And some people do that without even doing a channel. They just want that figure right now because they're so excited to get it here and they kind of want to be first.
Yeah, that's a whole other aspect of it is the time that you sink into it if you're doing this, and then you got some other aspects of it too, like time.
Hmm.
What about doing this when you get something in, but you can't work in getting your video made or getting your pictures taken? And I don't know how many
Hmm.
days, you know, that I've had something here, whether it's new and you're trying to get an early video up on it or whatever, but you ain't
Yeah.
got the time to come in here and sit down and do it the way you want to do it. So that
Yeah.
that's negative time. That's bad time right there.
Well, and I felt it with my phalanx video. I would, like I said, I needed to keep this at a half hour and no longer. It wound up being 31 minutes because I understand just because I can talk about something endlessly because I'm passionate about it doesn't mean the average listener wants to listen to it for a long period of time. So to compress everything down to a half hour, that's a time concern I have describing a toy I really like, right?
Yeah, trying to hit all the marks, and if you're trying to keep it under a certain limit, you know,
Yep.
and I actually joked when you told me your video was coming out, and I'm like, well, how long did it wind up being? And you told me, and I'm like, damn, that's a figure review for me as long as I take to get through anything. You did a whole huge vehicle and got it condensed down. So
Well,
that's
because
something else.
the time trap is there, right? I could have made a 2 hour video. How many views would get? And what favor am I doing this product by boring people with it? Right? That's what would be the end result.
I don't know. I think with that one, I think you probably could have got away with it.
Maybe, maybe, but
Maybe.
I feel like a half hour is probably what I would devote to somebody's video about a product that big without scrolling through a lot of it. So that's why I
Yeah.
went with it. But to get away from YouTube content, because not everybody in our chat creates a YouTube channel and talks about this stuff. But what about
Right.
this predicament? Because this was early in the line for me when I was trying to figure out my budget for GI Joe, not understanding how the waves work, not having a big back catalog to get through, and discovering pre-orders. When a whole wave comes out and you've got 4 figures sitting waiting for pickup, and they tell you got 4 days to pick this up before they go back on the shelf. That time you feel, do I have time to buy this within my budget means, or should I charge this to a credit card? Should I, like these kind of time considerations as well? Because Hasbro really hits that with a lot of people, the way that they release these figures as well. This is not the time. Kids' Christmas is coming up. Now my
Yeah.
HasLab is showing up. Now these figures are showing up, right? Like time is relevant to that as well.
And that's another aspect of what you just said. So, for example, I mentioned it earlier, the modular fortification and trench viper went back
Mhm.
up yesterday. So, I snagged another one. What's so funny about that is, so they've already, I got left the building notice for it today already. So
Mhm.
like it's already on the way. But thinking back to when we first saw that thing, that was October of last year when we first got to see that, because it was during Punk Streamathon when we got to see it. That was the same weekend of MCM London. It was that weekend, and
Yeah.
it was Saturday afternoon. He and I were actually looking at the pictures on the stream. That was in October, and we just got the thing like 3 weeks ago. They finally shipped them out. So that is a
Depending
long.
on where you were, yeah.
So, well, I mean, yeah, for US, customers, like they just, if
Mhm.
you bought it overseas, but Pulse just shipped them. What's it been, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe a month? I don't even think it's been a month, but that's a long wait for somebody that's really anticipating that thing. That's a long ass time looking forward to that. And that goes into this constant shuffle that we're forced into with the pre-order situation. And anymore, like it's hard to go hunt and find stuff. Guys in chat talked about it tonight. Like you can't find anything in the stores, so you got to pre-order it, and we get these pre-orders so far out, and then they juggle the time window around. So I wish, said that a million times, I wish they could stick to what they put out. Even if
Mhm.
if it's 6 months and they say it's going to be September 15th, like if you get the shit in August, just keep the release window for all kinds of purposes. People expecting it, budgeting for it. I know Punk always says, well, you shouldn't order it anyway if you don't have the money at the time. Well,
Well, it's not wrong.
I'll
But
have the money September 15th because I'm
yeah,
gonna back this amount every week to pay for this shit on September 15th. And when it shows up on August 1st, like, well, I had another 4 weeks budgeted to cover these
well,
guys.
honestly, I think Lawrence's point on that is true enough. Though it's not, don't buy it if you can't afford it. It's more like if you don't have a plan to pay for this thing effectively, just don't be a vocal complainer about it. That's your poor planning and prep, not Hasbro's fault. I think that's more to the point. If you want to charge this to a credit card and you can afford the interest rates, that's your business. He's not criticizing that. It's guys who hop on and scream that this is unaffordable, but they buy it anyways and then scream broke, right? Like
Right.
that's a
Yeah.
choice. Toys are a luxury. They're not a must have. They're a luxury, right?
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, looking at it from that aspect, that's
Mhm.
I mean, that nothing wrong with that point of view right there, looking at it that way. But
And I don't
so
mean to sound preachy about it. That's just like, the
no,
difference, the
that's just the
distinction
way it
there, right?
is. Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's spitting the truth. That's the way it is. But
Mhm.
but so we got this time crunch on ordering stuff, and so say this newest wave that we actually, that we showed is showing up in port. According
Mhm.
to data, this wave's not supposed to show up till January, and they're hitting port in September. So we're going to see them sooner. But just say time between waves and the drought you mentioned, say you've got some disposable income. What do you do with that time? Do you go and you start another line? Do you go cherry pick random stuff? Um,
Well,
what you have time to fill in between getting the stuff in. Jetman is out going to bed. Great
okay.
show,
Well, I was
guys.
just
Yo,
going to
Joe.
use you as an example of what Darren's talking about here, GI Jetman, but maybe you'll catch it in the replay if you quietly stick around. I'll put you to sleep with this one in the nicest way possible. Um, one thing that people do when the lull is there is they focus on what's supporting their collection with the display, right? They do what you talked about, rearranging shelves, and they watch videos on their collection to get ready for stuff that's out in other countries, they coming to them, and they get ideas, right? One thing, I just had GI Jetman message me today asking where I got the plants from for my shelf, things like that. Like, because with no figures to buy, maybe you can shift a few extra bucks to buy something cool for the back of the shelf. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
these are the things that happen in those lulls, right? And it's organic to collecting. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's just that's kind of the stuff we do.
Yeah, it's a
Or you
good
buy a
that
big
is
expensive third party.
you buy a giant troop carrier that could actually carry people.
Yes.
Um,
Play with 10 figures at
but
a
that
time.
that's a good idea though, is if you do set your shelves up and you build little mini dios or whatever, that's a good opportunity to go out and get some of that stuff, plants or uh, you know, whatever you're doing, Arctic stuff, whatever.
Yep.
Combat Dojo was out. Night Combat Dojo. Thanks for
Yeah,
tuning in,
night,
man.
guys. We've gotten to the
Um,
topic now, so we're not going to be going too much later tonight. But thank you for joining us tonight. If you persevered this long, thank you.
yeah, it's kind of our topic's kind of all over the place, but there's so many things to do with the time sink that collecting, not just Joe, but collecting anything really
Well,
actually is. But
no.
it all comes back to, if it's your hobby and you enjoy it, it all just kind of rolls in together.
So I mentioned another time-related crunch that some of us feel when we talk about HasLabs, right? You
Oh
only have so
yeah.
much time to fund it, and then you miss the boat, and then you're subject to resale. There's always that kind of time aspect. But also, we talk about the lifespan of the G.I. Joe classified line as a prime example, right? It doesn't have the same problem Marvel Legends does. Marvel Legends isn't going to have a lifespan. It's got life. G.I.
Yeah.
Joe has kind of this finite market of people who grew up with it in the 80s and the 90s that are now the big spenders of this generation when it comes to these toys, right? So I think a lot of people, when they look at things like the HasLabs, they're like, hey, if I don't get my whale now, I may never get it because maybe this line burns out and they stop making HasLabs for it and things like that. I think that concern is always on the radar. Or maybe I run out of shelf space and I'm forced to stop collecting before they've made my favorite vehicle or my favorite figure. You know what I mean? Like, there's those time crunches that are added to collecting that we kind of have to acknowledge as a collector. We put that on ourselves by choosing to collect, right?
Yeah, and that's just it. Like, your space is always going to be an issue, and you're battling what are they going to put out versus, what do I really want, and then you got to start looking at kind of cherry picking stuff while you wait. I
Mhm.
still, like with Joe's, I keep saying I wish they would just show like a product plan for
Y-
half a year at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember, like I said, the back of the package used to have so much more meaning than it
Yeah.
does now, right? It
Yeah,
was what
man.
you
It's
got to look
great.
forward to. It was your checklist. It was everything. And now it's pointless. It's just self-promoting.
Did you ever did you ever have like one card back that you kept and you checked like X'd off figures? Did you ever do that?
Um, No, if I did, I think I always wrote it down on a piece of paper on a duotang somewhere, like just, and then lost that paper and constantly rewrote it. I need airborne. I need major blood. But the file cards, I cut them out, same as the flag points, because I used those flag points and I
Yeah.
kept those file cards in a little box. And I remember losing my mind when my mom's boyfriend's son, who was like 3 years younger than me, took my low light file card after I had just opened them and hucked it out the window on a long country road. And they wouldn't stop to let me go pick it back up. Lost my
Oh,
freaking mind. Mhm.
had opened the door and pushed him out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's gonna cross my mind. I'm like, you're smaller than me. I could fling you out this window. The same you flung my card.
That's right, man. That was
Mhm.
I was wondering. I was wondering if anybody in the chat did that because I didn't do it. I kept my file cards, and a lot of times I kept the card backs. Later, I kept the card backs, but I always kept the file cards. But I saw people like I knew a kid that did that. Like he would get like whoever the bum figure was, in the
Mhm.
line, he would keep that card back and then he would X off the portraits when he got one, kind of like, crossing off a checklist. And it's like that's a pretty good idea if you're already cutting the file card off and you just keep one back. Or if it's just one figure that you don't really care about. See a lot of people probably did that with Crystal Ball.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Who's
my
that
cross
Trigger?
off one. Yeah. Yeah. We're just gonna do this. It's better than looking at me while I talk, right?
Go ahead.
Oh, why are you doing full screen though? Oh, you must be going doing stuff.
No,
You okay?
no, I'm here, but I got up. I got up for a
Oh,
second,
okay.
and it got hot in here, so I had to get up and mess with my thermostat. So,
Okay, well, I
uh,
thought the natural reaction to that was take off all your clothes. So I'm glad you just played with the thermostat.
no Nelly up in here. Uh, and time like we've been doing this for a long time. Like we've been collecting, off and on for years and years. So it's just a long running time taking hobby.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I don't know. I like time and money I think are very relative to each other when it comes to this hobby. And that's why I think a lot of us feel some constraints with it like that, the time-based constraints. Like how much longer can I do this? How much longer can I afford to do this? How much longer is Hasbro going to do this to me?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they've got like a plan. Like, do you ever wonder that? Do they have a timetable
I think they do.
plan,
Yeah.
on when they want to start tapering down?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's part of a general planning strategy. You have to have one for your shareholders, right? First of all, to say this is how it's going to look like, and if it doesn't, then we cop out, right? And I think with its success, the plan has given it a lot of leeway to do some stuff at the last minute and make some changes, pivot on a few things like they have.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I keep saying, it's going to be based on its sales, and the sales are based on its market demographic. And if they don't do something to make this line more relatable to a new generation, uh, on a few levels, not just comic books, but cinema, show, games, then this line does have a life expectancy. I wouldn't say exceeds 8 to 10 years. Right? But if they rejuvenate it, then who knows how long the 6-inch version of this line can go.
And we're already at 5. Like this is 5 this year on this line.
Yeah. And they do 3 years out in the planning, right? So that would put them at 8. And we're hitting things like Cobra Law at this point. That just kind of leaves Headhunters, Toxo Vipers, DEF, and then the over the top Star Brigade and Battle Force 2000 kind of stuff left on the traditional, 82 to 94 line market,
Yeah.
right? Like that's stuff that's left.
But
So
I
they've
mean,
got us big.
they got such a deep well they can draw from though outside of that,
Yes.
if the
Yeah.
momentum keeps up. I
And
like
that's just it.
Mark's
And
comment.
What's that?
Mark's comment. Mark says the GI Joe artificial heart. This is kind of finite time span. So, but
Yeah, I can believe it.
that's yet another thing. Like there may be a time that the line comes to an end. We hope it's a while out, but I see a lot of people talking about I only need this figure or that figure, and like I'm done. I only
Yes.
need Thrasher and the Thunder Machine, and that's the last one I need. I've actually seen a lot more of that in the last like 6 months of people like their time
Yes.
is almost up with the line, and I wonder how many
Well, and
people there are
that's
like that.
and I blame the failure of the Michael Bay Transformers movie to keep its fan base content for this, right? G.I.
Yeah,
Joe, the movies were responses to that. Hey, you guys like big explosions and lots of tech? Here's your Joe version of Transformers. Essentially, that's all it really was. Snake Eyes
yeah,
is a different beast. Won't get into it, right? But if they don't do something to modernize this line, they're not following a very successful formula that still worked from the 80s, which was saturate your market with the toy and a media, some sort of media. The EU comic and the comics in general are now such a niche market. They're not what is going to drive this line past its,
yeah,
past a certain time. They need movies, they need a TV series or something or some fresh looks at this. And I keep going back to this. Play on the nostalgia, but you need to reinvent your characters now. We are past the days where Stalker, his Philly roots and gangland roots and Vietnam roots are not relatable to anybody paying
no,
attention right now. They're not new fan
not
material. You need,
no new fans, no.
yeah, yeah. If we're talking about a military line, we need file cards that speak about how a character did something unique in a modern theater of war that people understand from growing up with that, right? That's going to be the key of pushing this line forward.
I think so too.
Mhm.
Tying stuff into like the Middle East or some you know general basis like that. You don't have to get too specific with it. The problem is everybody's so temperamental these days, like, and
Exactly.
that stuff was also unpopular the same way Vietnam was, maybe not quite to that extent, but society's different too. So I
No,
don't know
you're
that
100% right.
they got to be cautious on how deeply they would root that into real world stuff. But I agree they need to figure out a way if they want to extend the time. I think what the line really needs is, I mean, it's what we had in the 80s. It needs a damn cartoon.
Sure. I would love to see Netflix do what they've done with a lot of their animated series that they feature on there. I think a modern and cartoon. Look at what Masters of the Universe went through with their Netflix series,
Hmm.
right? Whether you liked it or not, it breathed life into that line for a new generation. Like,
Yeah, and it,
absolutely.
and it and it has a toy line.
Yeah.
You got toy
And
line
whether you like that
from
toy
that.
line or yeah, whether you like that toy line or not, maybe you don't like the new changes that they made to the Motu idea, right? But what happens out of that is, you get the fringe element of that line going back and saying, "Here's your retro," right? So you get your old
Yeah,
one back. So
yeah.
these things lead to each other.
That's exactly to me what it needs. Aim a cartoon at gear it for, don't have to be it doesn't have to
Well,
be adult, doesn't have to be mature, but I think kids these days are so desensitized to things that you could probably get away with a little more. You know, you're gonna be able to show blood and guts or anything, but it doesn't have to be an adult swim mature theme cartoon to appeal to both, you know, to get a younger demographic and to get us watching it. It's just got to be well done and
Well,
somewhat true to the characters we know.
yeah, I mean, like you need a fictitious conflict. We don't live in a political climate where anybody is going to want to say,
Yeah.
here's a fictitious war with Russia or South Korea, and
Right,
G.I.
right.
Joe is at the center of it, right? Like that ain't
Yeah.
happening. But and again, like if they weren't sensitive to this kind of stuff, then why don't we have the October Guard? You know why we don't have the October Guard?
Yeah.
It's bad time, right?
Yeah.
Until that conflict is over, then we're not going to talk about that figure probably for a while, right?
Yeah.
But yes, to make this line more relatable for the next 20-year-olds and up, these characters need to more connectivity than what they currently have. And it's a shame because we love them so much, right? We don't necessarily want Snake Eyes rewritten, but these are the sacrifices you make. It's not like Star Wars where that lore is sustained. This one became
Yeah.
disconnected in its military, right? Obsolete
Yeah.
equipment can lead to these changes.
Yeah. You have to somewhat rewrite G.I. Joe to make it appeal. Like, you know, it's different than a space opera fantasy, you know, sci-fi sword and sorcery, because that's what it was.
Mhm.
That's always gonna have a place, but like you said, even something like the equipment, you know, you can't show, like you can't necessarily pull Vietnam era equipment into modern times and write something around that because it's going to look out of place.
No, and
So
it's why
it
it's
definitely,
why they modernize the classified line where they can to say like this is acceptable to you because we're keeping this
yeah,
current, right? But it reminds you of the old, right? So there's that aspect of it.
um, um, but yeah, I don't know, man. I thought time might be something good to talk about because we all don't have any more of it. You know, I mean, we've got a finite amount. So you know what I mean. So and this is what we spend it doing because it brings us joy for the most part. I mean, there's some shitty days in trying to collect toys these days.
Well, I got one I'm going to add in here because I think we're coming to the end of the time of the topic as well, right? We've been talking about it for a bit, but I'd be remiss not to bring this one up. You're looking at that phalanx, and this is something where time plays with me because I think about, you know, th- I paid a lot of money for this, right? And I'm very happy with it. That's not the question. What happens to this after I pass away? Is this like a HasLab where it retains its value? I don't care. For me, the time factor on this is when my son starts going through my stuff, he'll see, this connection I had with this vehicle. He'll keep this. He knows that because his
Yeah.
dad served on a vehicle like this, right? So that time is also some connectivity to things that were important to me that I invested in. So that ties into this a little bit, just with this one vehicle.
Yeah, that's a good point. Something that's that got that kind of personal connection to you, and he knows it. So
Hmm.
that is something that would most likely survive when that time comes. Is he would hang on to that? Like all
Yeah.
this stuff behind me is probably going to Goodwill.
No, it won't.
You know,
I will pay the shipping and handling.
that's that. You know, imagine my cousin would probably
Yes.
be about the only one interested, but
No, and I would
so
think Pop would take it for sure and would have it for the nostalgia it means for you guys.
but that's another thing is when our time is done, what's going to happen to this stuff? Because not all of us have kids. I don't. So
No,
um no, we keep it
you
keep
know,
it going.
I scoffed right away when you said give it to Goodwill, but wouldn't that be just the highlight of your day if one day you're a young collector on a tight budget, you can't afford to get in on every HasLab or things like this, but you stumbled across something like this at a Goodwill thrift store at an amazing price, like just
Yeah.
that lightning in a bottle. I mean, you got to feel good that that's possible, right?
Yeah, that would be awesome if that's something that would actually happen, if it made it that far through the systems.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good thought, knowing that it could bring somebody else happiness at another time.
Yeah.
Vipers Count says I'm taking it with me. So I
Right.
actually am taking my 3 3/4 Joes with me.
I
They
talked
are
about that as well. There
they
are certain Joes that'll get buried with me, I'm sure.
they yeah, they are going with me. They 100%. The classified stuff, maybe not.
No.
Maybe Scrap Iron and Tuco Viper. The Scrap
Well,
Iron that I take to every show is my pocket fig. Maybe him and Tuco, maybe, but
that's what I thought. I thought for sure you'd say scrap iron for sure, right?
yeah.
And we'd make
But
sure
it's
that whatever you died from left the same scar on your face as the one on him.
yeah. If not, just put it there after the
Yeah,
fact.
we
I
just
won't know. I
use
won't
makeup.
know. Just
No,
get yeah, just
we're honoring you.
get an iron. I'm not gonna care. Use a clothes iron. I don't give a fuck. It
I'll help
don't
the
matter to me.
mortician. I'll fly out and help that mortician get this right.
It won't matter to me.
You know,
Let's see.
I already have an understanding with my son that if he dishonors my family, then before I die, I will melt this stuff down and forge my casket from it, and he will get none of it.
That's awesome. Oh man, yeah, but it's all plastic though. They're not gonna let you have a plastic casket.
Well, I don't throw monkey wrenches into my plans.
I'm just gonna
Now I gotta
rain on
think.
your parade.
Yeah, now I gotta spend time thinking about that. Sorry, as I hook this camera back up. There we go.
Ronnie Trickshot says Tuco's got to get out of Australia first. He might not want to leave. Yeah, yeah, he's been he's been having a good time, so I understand. I got to get the
Yeah.
name right. He's been drinking his fill of what is it? Farmers Union iced
Farmers
coffee.
Union and eating
Yeah.
Vegemite.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's been getting his fill of Farmers Union iced coffee over
yeah.
there. So
See,
I just go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say there's some things that stick out of my head about the '90s and the show Seinfeld. I hated that, but all I can think of is right now is maybe a dingo ate your Tuco, right? Like I could picture Elaine saying that right now.
Do you know how much I would like to get a picture of him with a dingo?
Or in the pouch of a kangaroo.
Oh God. While he's over there. So oh man, that
Don't
would be
harm
so
any
great.
kangaroos to get this.
That would be so great if I have him in a kangaroo pouch. Oh my God. Ronnie says it's a Farmers Union iced coffee or it's nothing. So I'm gonna have to find somewhere that imports that stuff now, because much as I am when I talked to you earlier, I'm drinking iced coffee. So
Yeah, I left
right
my
now.
coffee over there. Grab my smoothie.
There's Matthew says you what?
You probably something relevant to the chat or a correction he made. Or it's you. It's not me.
It's not me. It's you. It's you, Matthew.
I think it's you.
Oh, okay. Matthew hit enter before he got finished, so he said,
There
"You
you
better
go.
take Tuco after all he's been through." I don't know if there is any kind of like Hall of Fame for toy tube like memorabilia. He should be in it. I think I'd donate him to that museum. We put him in that museum. So, anyway, that's the time talk. I just thought it would be a good kind of broad subject to talk about, with as much time as we all spend doing this, doing videos or watching videos or just collecting, driving around, waiting on our favorite lines to release new stuff between pre-orders, getting other stuff, time you take, hunting it down. Just respect how much time we put into it and try to enjoy it. And we get frustrated. I'm always bitching about something that Hasbro's doing as a company as much as I
Agreed.
love their product. Um, but overall I enjoy it. It's fun. There's some frustrating moments and there's always gonna be, but as a hobby, man, overall as a whole, like I enjoy the time that I've put into it, putting this room together, talking to you, talking to Chad, all the people I've met. It's been great. So if my time runs out tomorrow, at least the last half of it, I've had a good time. So
Yeah.
so it's been great doing it. So
Well, I like
uh
that sentiment. It's not morbid at all. I think that's a nice sentiment to leave that subject on.
yeah, so
Yeah.
the end, you don't ever know. Nobody knows. Nobody
Well,
knows.
and it reminds me that you and I, when we talked about this topic, we realized, this one's kind of a filler because there's not much going on and it's a filler topic. But if you were to step outside of YouTube, you'd be loving your Joe line. No, no questions asked. You might have some moderate frustrations, but you wouldn't
Yeah,
vocalize it as much. For some reason, because on social media and YouTube, like Facebook, YouTube, Insta, you get the feeling we're not happy when we're collecting, like we're not having a good time. We're upset about
yeah,
something. Something upset us. And that's just not true, is it? It really isn't, right?
not
It's just that
always.
that's what we're vocal about it. We're vocal about the things that stand out, right? So,
Yeah, well, it's
mm,
like that old the saying, like the whatever it applies to, like the negative that always gets highlighted. Nobody when it's rolling good and it's positive, you don't get any light shed on it. But when something fucks up, that's when it's a big deal all of a sudden. So, and
sure.
I'm probably guilty of that as anybody else. I mean,
I think we all are.
God knows I've had my say and made my points, but overall, man, I mean, it's great. Like, if you'd have told me 10 years ago that I would have Joes that are modern updates to what I had as a kid that can do everything I wish they could, you
Yeah.
know, like
Or
I'd have been like, "Oh, get the hell out of here! You in a 6-inch scale?"
so I look at it, we're old enough to appreciate this. It's like taking a Polaroid from the 70s and 80s and transferring it into a hologram into today's tech. Like what you saw in the 3 3/4, or some people refer to as the Lord scale, and I understand that. I acknowledge it and I respect it. The detail wasn't there. It was only
Mm-mm.
so much detail they could cram into that kind of a medium. The classified collection, like I said, that is like the evolution of the Polaroid to what it is now, right? And
Yeah.
that,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that is why I'm so locked in and investing in it, right? So much
Yeah.
gratification in something like that.
I have fun filling my time with doing pictures, setting up pictures. I might not always feel like doing it, but boy, when I do, like I don't care how long it takes. If I'm having fun doing it, I gotta be in the mood to do it. But
Sure.
I love setting it up. I love laying it out in my head, setting it up, making it happen, getting this shot, getting that shot.
Yep.
That's playing with them, these days. That's our mostly what we do, playing with them. Or maybe I'll get a couple down. That's what I like to do in here. I just grab a couple things and set on the table and sit here for 10 or 15 minutes, posing them.
Yeah.
And man, that's how we play with them these days. But Ronnie says, Crow, I'm cool with you being vocal about anything.
Boot. Boys, that's an East Coast accent thing, the about part, right?
Yeah,
I'm
boot,
I'm
boot,
central and
uh,
I'm western, so I'll say about all day.
talking about boot them decals.
Boot them decals, you hosers. Believe me,
So
if you guys ever get a chance, I want you to look up a little skit on YouTube called "What If They Had Uber in Newfoundland," and it's the guy's accent is perfect, and I worked with guys all that time. If you can speak Newfie, you can make it anywhere in Canada because that's the hardest accent to decipher. It's worse than like really backwater Kentucky, anything like, like the extreme accent. You'll never hear anything like it.
And is it Newfie that's got like a Scottish burr to it?
Yes. Lord
Yeah.
Thunder and Jesus by, I tell you 2 times, one time about this vehicle, and if your mother could see you right now, I'd fucking send you off. Like it's the rants I go on. You're like, what'd you just say? When I joined the army, when I joined the army, one of our biggest troops was this guy named June Power. He was fresh Newfie, and I love the guy. But we say, how'd you get here? He's like, I don't know, but one day I came home and mom signed me up. Right, one day I came home and my mother signed me up. That was his, and he went on to be a sergeant major. Right, so
guess it was the right decision, man. That's funny.
yeah,
All right, you have
his
to get out
brother
Google
too.
Translate. She wanted them out of the house bad.
Just get a job. Don't you're not going to get a job? Look, just send you up to the army. Then get on with you.
It won't be much longer before I get to send you a selfie of me holding a Tim Hortons cup.
Oh, you got
We're
one
getting
coming to your area.
Well, we're getting a Tim Hortons. They're actually moving. I don't know if it's the gonna be the national headquarters. They're moving some offices here, but we're actually
maybe.
getting earlier I talked about all of the companies that are moving to Tennessee because of tax breaks. I don't know if it's going to be their main headquarters in the States, but they're moving some offices here, but they're actually building a Tim Hortons. It's going to be about 20 or 25 minutes from me.
Oh, neat. I'm going to tell you a
It'll be
secret
open
that
next year.
I'm going to tell you a secret that most Canadians won't admit to. Because I drank Tim Hortons like religiously in the army. McDonald's coffee's better. I'll say it. It's better. Tastes better.
McDonald's actually has pretty good coffee. So we got to say,
Yeah.
what's up to A Punk with Toys? Lawrence has joined us for a few, saying the ice cap. He keeps telling me about that
Yeah.
Tim Hortons ice cap. So that's
The
going
ice
to be the
cap's
first
worth it.
thing that's going to be the first thing I order when I go in there.
So the ice caps,
Rafe
and
Mace,
if you're a hockey fan, they do a really good Upper Deck hockey card line under Tim Hortons that sometimes are worth money. So you get a
it's
chance
like
at that every year.
It's like an Upper Deck sub line for Tim Hortons. Okay.
Yeah.
I
And they do
have to
some
look
fancy
into that.
stuff with those. Yeah.
Nice. Rafe Mace is in the house.
What's going on, buddy?
Hello, gentlemen. Great
Yeah,
review, Crow. That thing is a beast.
Hey, thanks, buddy. It is, man. Yeah, but
you got a clear camera. I'm gonna put you on solo and let Rafe get a look at that thing real quick.
Yeah, bro. And and I said it in my review, right? I do a tactical perspective. I gave it like a 5 out of 5 on all categories. I think I gave it a 10 out of 5 on the Je ne sais quoi. But it's not, it's not like it's on the exterior very realistic to a Lav 6. He took liberties where he needed to because it's 3D printing and it can't be fragile. But the interior, yeah, it's somewhat reminiscent, but there's a lot of things that aren't realistic, like the gun and whatnot, because they can't be, because and this is what I'm getting at. The play factor for this thing is perfect. Like you can open it up, you can see everything, you can take your photos. If you want to stow part of your Joe collection in there, you can. It's like this is what I feel a HasLab needed to bring to the table. To be a HasLab wasn't necessarily its size. Sorry, I'm trying to plug something in that doesn't work. It's not its size. It's
I know how that goes.
How much play factor can go into it? What can it do to occupy the figures you have? Right. And the more you can do, the better. And you guys can see it. I've got like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 10. I've got like 12, 13 figures just piled on the outside. Right. Like,
and you said how many go in the troop compartment? 6?
So with the turret on, I can get probably 4 to 5 in the back part, 2 in the turret, 1 in the driver's hole. I think you could probably squeeze a couple figures in the jump seats in the back, but I'm not going to. That's where Kit goes. But with this off, you can fit 11 figures in with seating and then maybe work some in the middle columns. Or you can flip the seating up and you can cram the whole bikes or the, what's the ATV there? The Tiger Paw. You can do all that kind of stuff. Like the play factor. Was the investment in it. Yes, I have a personal connection. I lived in this vehicle for quite a while, and these things saved my life, and I fought with them, sure, but having this reminder on the shelf isn't isn't enough for me to spend that kind of money. It had to have the play factor, and it absolutely does.
And Wraith says, it's great, man. I haven't seen something that wanted me to break my Joy Toy Warhammer collecting except this. So,
Mhm.
And I'm going to bring something up that Matthew just sent me. This is the strongest
Oh,
Newfoundland accent.
Oh,
Uh,
I might have to tap the screen to hear this, but go ahead.
Looking for squid baiting. And we were there early after dinner, and I rode ashore to Wharf, and on the wharf was an old man sitting now. And I introduced myself and told him who I was and where I come from. And I was an old man, a big white whisker. And I said, "Sir, were you ever in Littlebun, eh?" "Yes, boy," he said, "there are dozens of times." He said, "Yes, he said, 'twas my grandfather, Safe Patrick, been hung home in Ireland," said. Or true, Lord. That's what he said about it. I didn't believe it too much out home when they were talking about it.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, you
good
get the gist of
Lord.
it pretty good from there. Yeah, man. And what you saw me doing while that was playing, where I was like blinking and nodding, a lot of
Yeah,
newfies have gotten that from me as I've talked to them.
yeah.
And then
Just
I tell
like,
them,
huh?
can you slow down? Slow down.
Yeah, like, okay. Like, you just smile and nod.
Yeah.
Yep,
Thank you,
yep,
Matthew,
yep.
for sharing that with us. Again, I
Yeah.
will say the why Uber doesn't work in Newfoundland video is one of the most brilliant pieces of Canadian comedy that you'll never see on television because it is so fucking accurate. And the
That's
guy is
hilarious.
hilarious. Yeah. Lord, under Jesus,
That's
bye.
that's so funny. So,
Hmm.
well, it's about that time
I agree.
to wrap it up for the night. We got 17 folks watching, so hit that like if you hadn't
Appreciate it.
hit that like. Make sure see that you go over and go to this as soon as I pull it up. Thought I had it pulled up, but I didn't have it
Well,
pulled up.
what's that? Is this Punkathon link or is this my link?
No, there's not a link for the Punkathon yet.
Oh, not yet.
He's
No. Okay. Thought
dragging
maybe
his
you
ass
made
on it.
something. Yeah. But guys, don't forget Punkathon coming up in October. There, mentioned. Thank you, Punk. Yeah, we'll be
I
appearing
was
on that when that comes too. Yeah.
I
Actually,
was getting there.
were you? Okay, good. Let's make sure we touch a little bit more on that. I'll let you say your piece on it because we should close out with a bit of that.
I was just finding your video. I thought I still had it pulled up, but I closed it. So there's a link to Crow's Phalanx video. Go check that
Oh,
out when we are done here. So
Darren,
and
thank you for doing that, by the way. I appreciate that. I realize this
yeah, bro.
episode was really kind of phalanx heavy, but very much
Oh,
appreciate it. Thank you.
we knew it was going to be when you finally got it. I don't mind. I want to hear about it too.
Neat.
So,
Okay, cool.
so we do have coming up in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, in about 7 weeks, guys, on the weekend of October 24th, 25th, going into the 26th, will be Punk's Punkathon. It's his most favorite name. He's so glad that we named it that for him, where he's going to do a 36-hour live stream like he did last year. So a benefit show in partnership with Sarge and Reds, and it is benefiting Toys for Tots. And what he's doing is he's having a variety show that long. It's gonna be
Pretty
it
much, yeah.
basically is a variety show.
Yeah.
And all super chats that come in or donations coming in straight to him where he's cleared his PayPal out to be accepted for this. And he shows the
Mhm.
receipts. You ain't got to worry about him buying elevator shoes or anything. He keeps the receipt and
What a thing to add.
turns them all turns them all in, and he'll show us the receipts. But he takes all the money that he raised down to Sarge and Reds, and they hook him up on inventory, and basically our donations buy a shitload of toys for needy kids and needy families for Christmas. So we got that coming up in, what did I say, 7 weeks. So a lot
Yeah.
of planning and stuff going on behind that. So be looking for it. It's time to start getting it promoted. Hopefully he'll have a thumbnail for us to start showing soon.
Well, I mean,
Um,
everybody in the chat that I see right now is probably well tracking this with Punk, but yes,
yeah.
yeah, no, like I said, it's just that time where we talk about time. Maybe you were giving you enough time, and I'm going to put myself on this reminder list to maybe set a little bit aside of that figure budget if you're inclined to do so. Maybe Hasbro hasn't put out a figure that you need that week, and maybe set that aside to help raise those funds for Sergeant Reds. We want to break what we made last year with Punk for
Mhm.
that big check to Sergeant Reds. And they don't want necessarily for you to send figures. The money is so that every kind of kid with every kind of taste in a toy can open a new figure or a new toy, I should say, right?
Yeah.
So that's where the money is more important than necessarily donating what you think is a good toy, right? So just wanted to
Yep.
put a
It's gonna
little
take-
emphasis on that because you can plan ahead now.
Yep. I'm talking about planning ahead and having money for when stuff shows up. That's going to be showing up that weekend. Is all of us could not buy one figure that month and donate that money, and some kid will get that figure and probably get a lot more enjoyment out of it than we would buying my second Grim Viper and send that money over there so that kid could
100%.
get something. So it's just a good
And
thing he does.
maybe, yeah. And sorry, I wanted to put this out there too. And maybe you're in a situation where you can't support that way. That's okay. We all understand those scenarios and no one's judging. Just watch, join them in the chat. Support any way you can. That's all.
Yep. Chats are gonna be fun. They were last
Yep.
year. Chats were rocking and rolling, but he's having a lot of different YouTube content creators from all walks, customizers, shows like us, what we do will be on there. Same time Toys is going to be on with Smoking Joe's, customizers like Gun Bunny, Tony's Figs,
Yeah.
Legend Series. There's a wrestling segment, so he's getting it sewed up. It's going to be a good time. So hope everybody's making plans. I'll clear that weekend and do what I did last year. I'll hang out and be in the chat or be on the screen to help him or whatever, anything he needs to help get the show going off smooth. So just be aware that that's coming up. So put a couple ducats back to help the kids. It's for the kids. For the kids.
Yeah.
Crusty Old Crow, what you got coming up over on your channel? Do you got anything else coming in, or did you just put a full stop on everything so you could get the phalanx and enjoy it for a little bit?
No, the standard pre-orders are coming the same as you guys. You know, we're looking at Slice and Dice and Snake Armor in the breach with the legacy police officer who's quietly sneaking in under the radar, like all that stuff that we talked about earlier. I'm just like everybody else. I have a pre-order in. I'm bracing for it. I don't know if it's going to happen in dribs and drabs or all at once. We'll find out. But yeah, like the next figures that hit my continent, you'll see the reviews right away. But nothing planned. I am planning on doing a hunter review similar to what I did with the phalanx because I had to get my tank qual. So there's your next big related video, but nowhere like this one. But yeah, that's just it. I'm just kind of waiting for things to show up now. What about yourself? You like I know Jada for you. Like you do a lot more Jada videos than I've ever done. Like, do you have other things other than the Joe stuff coming out?
I'm picking up the Creeper from Scooby Doo.
Oh, nice.
I'm picking the creeper up on Friday. I got Shaggy, and Shaggy is awesome. Everybody needs the Shaggy, but I didn't get the
Yes.
mummy or the creeper. But Yojo Depot they got Shaggy and they got the creeper. He didn't order the mummy for some reason. So I'm going to see him on Friday, and I'm going to pick the creeper up, see what other kind of cool stuff he's got. So I'll have that guy, and I have something else coming in. I believe it's supposed to be here Friday. Something interesting that's I don't know, might get some flack for it, but I'm still going to do a video on it. It's we'll see. But something I've been looking forward to, something I was looking forward to Joe Fest, and they didn't have it. So I missed out on it, but I did finally get a hold of it. And I'll explain. All will be told in the fullness of time.
I was going to say,
let's
you're
see.
such a man of mystery.
Matthew says, my Wave 1 Jada Scooby's coming soon. BBTS shipping tune, label created. So I was going to order the mummy
Not
and
moved
the
yet.
creeper at
Yeah.
BBTS and send them to my pile of loot, because I got an email that something else I finally had hit my pile of loot at BBTS that I've been waiting on since February.
Mhm.
And that is the interchange pack for the racer. So I can take my one good
Oh.
racer, and I'm going to get the hood with the supercharger and the different wheels. So I ordered that pack, and I've been waiting on it for months, and it kept getting pushed back. Well, it's
Yeah.
finally coming in. Like you get the email that pre-orders about the process, blah, blah, get your money right. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to my pile of loot. I think I'm going to get the mummy and have the mummy sent to the pile of loot too, and then ship those two together. And then I'll have the creeper this weekend. So that's what I got. I've got the creeper. The other thing that's, I may piss some people off. I don't even know. We'll find out. I got that coming in. I got another one of these battle modification things. Should be here this weekend. It's maybe I'll actually put that together and review it, do something with it. I got some pictures in my head I want to do for them, but it's going to be too damn hot to do them over the weekend. So I don't know. We'll see. There's stuff coming. We got stuff coming. So you got anything special on your channel?
No, we
Particular?
covered that. We're
Okay.
getting at that wind down part. But before we
Yeah.
go, let's just throw up Ronnie Trickshot's last comment there, and just there's another fine example of things you're going to see during the Punkathon, right? Me and Darren give
Yeah.
you the north-south version of a Joe review and talk show, right? Like he's down in Tennessee and I'm up in Ottawa, and then of course Punk has friends in Australia that are willing to do the same thing, to participate. And so if
Yeah.
you're a night owl or an early riser, Ronnie Trickshot and Shark Eyes are going to keep you entertained during that time frame as well. So
Yeah, that was a good time. That was probably the highlight of the show, was that hour.
Oh God.
'Cause I was there for it. I was listening. I was laughing my ass off. It was like 3 a.m. It was so much fun.
Yeah, for sure.
So we got all that coming up. So hit that like, that subscribe. If you hadn't yet, go over and watch Crow's video on the Falnix, and probably we'll be back here. I'll be back here next Wednesday with Pop Blender for Sevens Wild. Have no idea what we're going to talk about yet, but the next Friday, not this coming, next Friday, probably will be a 3-star After Dark. And
those are fun.
So if anybody is interested, hit me up and I'll get a list together of who wants to be on. I got some links going to certain people, but if anybody wants to be on that night, just holler at me and we'll get you the link. Get on here and talk some bullshit and have some fun. And planning on doing one of them. I got that bullshit. So that'll be on the 19th, this Friday, Punk is doing a Punk's Pit. It's Matthew.
Yep.
He's doing a Punk's Pit for members only, and we have a topic for it is scrap iron and iron grenadier, which all of the cool people here on this channel know damn well he is not. But we're gonna have to squat.
you know
we're
what,
gonna have to
Darren?
squat up.
I'm gonna walk that middle line on that whole discussion, buddy.
I'm gonna have receipts. I'm gonna have comics. I'm gonna have screenshots. I'm coming
But-
in like I'm Bobby Vallow, full of receipts.
All right, and I'll be your shake and bake, and eventually I'm gonna betray you, stab you in the back, just like they did in that movie, and realize you can talk about facts and the lore and the canon till you're blue in the face. When we talk about modernizing and changing this line and what people's brain can bring to the table, both things can be true.
Both, but
We're gonna find out
but-
on Punk's Pit.
I'm gonna
We'll
go.
decide it there.
I'm gonna use his own strategy against him. My winning strategy's already laid out. I'm like George Patton. This is already it's all but done. All I got to do is roll the tanks. It's done. So hopefully
right.
that'll be as interesting as we're making it sound. So that's all we got tonight for you guys. I appreciate everybody hanging out and enjoying our silliness. We're gonna get back to some battle yard silliness. We gotta do some more silly stuff for long. So
Backyard
gotta do,
battlefield, you mean?
what did I say?
Battle yard. Is that like StreamYard just for us?
Yeah, that's ambience what that is. It's
I've been smoking the joints. What's going on here?
yeah. That's Ambien on an empty stomach's what that is. So we gotta get back to some silliness, maybe write up some funny file cards for some characters, figure out a way to mesh some characters into some other IPs and do some funny storylines or something. I feel like we just need to do something fun and silly. It's been a minute.
I might come up with a scenario where I get you to throw some dice soon.
Yeah, we need to bring back Dice Fight. We hadn't done one for a
Yeah.
while. Maybe
I'll stage something up for you.
Have us a guest. Have us a guest
Yeah.
for Dice Fight. So
Yeah,
maybe
for sure.
work that in on the next show. We'll have to do some talking about that. So all right.
Mhm.
I think that is all we got for you guys tonight. Again, thank you. Still got 13. Y'all dropping off like flies, but I don't blame you.
Yeah,
So
me neither.
3-star draw, and this is hang on, I hadn't played it yet.
Hey. God, I love that.
North. And
I want a horn
we'll
for
see-
this that does that.
Oh, that'd be awesome. There's got to be a way to do it. Just record it on something, a little sound bite,
Yeah.
push a button, one of those recordable keychains or something. But
Yeah.
that's all we got for you guys tonight. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we always
Appreciate
like to try to have a good time over here and not get too heavy handed. It gets mired down in some of these chats, man. We like to have fun. But we'll see
People
you
still like
guys yeah, some people still like that. Hopefully we'll see y'all Friday on Punk's Pit, and if not, hopefully we will see you over the course of the next week. And this is Backyard Battlefield, and we out.